おはようございます。おはがるる、今日もお休みですか？そうです。今日はお休みを取りました。おはようございます、りのさん。練習しようとした？そう、ミラーをしようとした。ミラーをしようとした。始まっとるし、一部で減っとる。
Fantastic loot too.
But now this plays into what you're saying.
No,朝早い。
We saw this happen in EMEA. Now that AJC has won that 50-50,
おはようござい
will we
ます。
continue
皆
to see
様。
the contest, or will CCE
めちゃ
say,
寝
you
起き
know
で
what,
す。
maybe this isn't the best idea. Let's back
寝
off
起
and
きで
try
飲み
something
物を入れてきて、
another
朝ごはんを
new
パッと取ってき
POI,
た。
or does the stubbornness kick in?
ねいまくさんもお
Thing
は
is
よ
with
う。
CCE, I do recall
Oh,
that they
hayong.
were originally landing by
ちゃんと来て偉い。
Climatizer.
Yes.
With so much action happening in Climatizer and
今
seeing
日
the
は
change up now,
TSM がいらっしゃ
that's
い
a
ます
good
の
question,
で、
Glitter. Are they going to continuously
いや、ちょっと
contest
さ、
AJC
今日予
off the
定
rip,
して
or are they going to
た、
start changing things up?
予定してたって
Something
いう
that
か、
I also know
ち
that
ょっ
James
と
Barber
ど
is
なた
definitely enjoying
とある
himself.
方の
His
ね、個人
manga
視点見せ
has
ていただ
been
こうと思ったんです
on
けど、
this
ちょっと
Caustic,
連絡
and
が
he has not let go of this pick
自
being
社
on
の
World
関
Edge.
係
And
も
of
あり、
course,
なかな
I
かう
definitely
ま
could
くい
see
か
the
ず、
utility of Caustic
今
on
日は
World's
断念しま
Edge
した。
versus what we usually see on Stormpoint,
マ
which
ジ
is
で
why
申
we
し訳
saw
ねえや。
some Caustic heavy teams
もっと早く思いつけばよかっ
perform
た
very
なと思っ
lackluster in
て。
the first split that mostly relied on Caustic. Now CLG has not let that go. They've been able to find some success with this composition, and they are going to try to keep replicating this right now because they're currently sitting in 12th place in the overall standings that led up to this. I do recall in day 3, just yesterday actually, Glitter, you guys got to see them have their own pop-off moments, not only
今
on
日はこの女の
Stormpoint, but
人だ
also
ね。
at the very last game on
今日なんか
World's
全員女の
Edge.
人っぽいで。
That is correct. I feel like I'm waiting for the day,
喋ってん
Vicky,
の。
where we get like the Vicky's dream team.
マッキーさんおはようございます。おはよう
Maybe
ございます。
Caustic, Seer, and
早起き
Rampart,
は
and
三
then you'll
本
just be
の
so
こと言いますよ。言いますよ。
That's literally what I can't stand in my own lobby.
お休み羨ましい。リー
Not
ナ
here
さん
in
お
the
仕事
ALGS. This is my
頑張
solace.
ってく
I
れ。
need
い
to
や、ガー
have
ル休
a
み
bit
取
of
っ
a
たんだよ
breather.
な。
And as I say that, Albert Lily is
忘れてたけど
just
すっかり。
mowing people down with the Sheila. We truly are out here as Glitch Energy. Don't know if I just cursed
ご
because
飯
I
よ。
was literally looking forward to the squad.
ご
They're
飯
the
食べよう
second
とガ
squad
ー
to
ル。
go down in this lobby in 19th. Talk about a start
ガ
here
ールさん
for
もお
our
はがる
game
元気も
one
らい
on
きまし
World's
た。おは
Edge.
ようよ、きみなさん。
I
元
shouldn't
気
have
もらって
said
け。
Rampart out loud. I'm so sorry. That might be my fault. You know what? Either way, we're getting lots
獅子王
of
がるは
early
これ
game
からご
fighting.
飯を食
Again,
す。
in the first game of the day, something we saw in EMEA as well, and NA came to play. We knew today was going to be
いた
kind
だ
of a
き
pivotal
ま
day
す。
for a lot of these teams. You can
野
see
菜から
Land
食べ
Halls
ま
there
しょう、やっ
across
ぱ
the
り。
way from
最初
CLG,
は。
TSM in the bottom. You've got MLS up at the top, and everyone's trying to already grab this real estate, but I know it sounds like it's early, but we're almost at that halfway point. These
スマイル
teams
女性
need to
ガード
start
で。
making some seriously impressive moves when it comes to getting points on the board and putting themselves
割れてるか
at
ら、
a
これ。
safer spot in those overall standings. So
ガー
these
ルの
teams
画
are
面から
really
ガー
start
ルが見
showing
え
us
てないから
exactly
さ。
what they can bring to the table.
I like how you highlight that because if you look at where the circle's pulling, this is
待って、
usually
メイ
one
ト
of
し
those
てる、ずっ
circles
と。
in thermal where people like to rotate very quickly. Because if you're late on the rotate, as Sweet falls low, he jumped down here, but should have no issue going right
目は
back to the
閉じ
rest
て
of
ない
his
わ。
teammates. Maybe trying to scout ahead. TSM
仕事
wasted
行
no
ってく
time
れて
too,
ます。い
just
ってらっ
waiting
し
on
ゃ
the
い。
bottom
いってらっ
ground.
しゃい。お気を
They're
つけ
rocking the
て。
Catalyst here and Valkyrie. We did see them trying to mix things up
もう
with
め
the
っちゃ目つ
Horizon
ぶ
at
ってる
one
人み
point
たいだ
with
から。
Pearls being on the Horizon. But I like this
お、ヒロさんお
different
は
play
よう。
style
楽しんで
here
ください。
from
ありがと
TSM because
う。
again, they need it. They're not sitting in the best spot in the overall standings right now, and a lot of other teams already making their way into this next rotation are going to get pinged by these choke points.
ワンコ分。
AJC, though, making it through after their successful 50-50, so they've got to be feeling a
ワン
little
コ
bit
分
good
2
here
ついってや
also,
つはおもろい。
not getting punished too terribly.
ヒロさんも今日
They
も
made it
早
in
起き暗殺
early
者
enough that
活動前だね。
nothing
暗
has
殺の。
really popped off, but now it's about continuing that push into any of the areas that haven't already been taken near
ごちそうさま
thermal,
でした。今日
and
も
considering how many of the big names already made their
あり
way
が
in
とう
there,
よ、
it
キム
might be
さ
a
ん。
little bit difficult to do that.
ねっちゃんおはよう。
Good
まあ
scare
な。
by Surrey Beacon that's right
かっ
there
こいいな。
next to
一
them.
言が
We
か
know
っ
that
こいい
there
な。
is a
まあ
team there
な。
because they were getting shot there originally when they were in the middle of the skyward dive, but my goodness, looking at AJC's equipment right now and Capra having the bow check in his hands, the Prowler, not too sure how pitted it is just yet
ぬいちゃ
before
ん
he
の
swaps
笑顔
over
も
to that
届いた
weapon,
みたい。
but this is a good position for AJC. I like this choke point because they can deny the rotation from the squads that are going to be leaving staging, trying to get through these choke points if they're already being held, trying to exit out of the choke point that leaves from Harvester. this is going to get hot pretty quick right now. This is one of those circles where if you're not getting through those choke points originally, you're going to have a pretty bad time, especially if you Hail Mary on the skyward dive.
Yeah, and you can see
朝
that
から
on the
6
map,
人
so
も
you're
見て
talking
くれ
about
てる。
them
あ
being
り
able
が
to
と
hold
う
the choke point. They do have at least one squad behind them that they'll need to be keeping their eyes on to make sure that they're not getting pinched from behind, but they can also get their gatekeeping done pretty safely because they know where a lot of the teams in front of them are, and they're far enough away that there's not a lot of stress. And as soon as
ご評価説は危ねえ。じゃあ、ありがとう。わざわざ。
where these
ありがとう。
teams need to continue moving, you see
頑張ってくれ、
FaZe
一
out
日。
there on the outskirts having come through from Climatizer. Everybody else, though, really jockeying for space, and everyone's going to be very happy about that shift.
Oh my, wow. Especially for the teams that could predict going into those buildings that are in the
今日本当は
southwest side
さ、
of thermal. It's going to be huge. Drug
春
free.
の視点を見
This
せ
is
て
the
もらおう
team
と思っ
that I
て。
talked about earlier that weren't as consistent going into the second half of the
い
day.
や、マッ
They
サンに
found
相
two
談
wins
したら、
back-to-back on World's Edge,
TSM の日本の
so
マ
they're
ネージャ
playing
ー
to their
と
strengths right
お
now.
知り合いら
But
し
I'm
くて、
curious to see how they're going to be able to play this rotate with so
聞い
many
てあげる
other
って言われ
teams
たけ
already
ど、
holding the choke point
ちょっとまあ時
into
差の
throne.
関係もあって、なかなか。いや、ガルルがちょっとね、思いついたのがギリギリすぎたよね。で、一応ガルルも本人に DM するんだけど、ちょっとさすがにガルルには返信来なかったわ。そう、マッサン人脈お化けすぎるんだよな、マジで。
Obviously phenomenal IGLing from Phony right now, and they look
あの人お
so
かしいんだよ。
seamless as a
なん
team.
か Vtuber の事務所とか手伝ってるらしいし、あんま言わない方がいいかもしれないけ
I
ど。
love
まあでもなん
it.
か
I'm
そん
here
くら
for it
い
when it
すごい
comes
人
to
だから。
FaZe
マ
and
ッ
the
サンって
success that they've been able to find Glitter. That's why I had to highlight them because
お、今後で見れないけど頑張ってありがとう、
Phony
中
being
丸
the
さん。
IGL and the follows we've been seeing from
お
Snipe
仕
Down,
事
they've
頑
been
張って
having
く
a
れ、
lot of
一
success,
日
but。the same can't be said right
と
now
フ
for
ェーズいたね。
Zero. The cancel on the heel. He's desperately trying to pop a Phoenix, but it's
今日は
Lanimals.
結構知って
This
ると
is
こいっ
one
ぱ
of
いい
the
て。
teams that I wanted to see more of. Jen is not having a good time. He's getting beamed by the charge rifle behind him. He's getting beamed in front of him. You can hear the 30-30 ringing in his ears. Lanimals, though, get interrupted, and after what we witnessed in the kill feed earlier, when we were watching
Jen落とされた。あ、終わった。
Albert
終わっ
Lily
ちゃ
is
った。
on the rampart currently.
フェーズってスナイプダウンにいるとこだっけ？
After what we witnessed in EMEA from the Alliance side of things, they have been able to find success with a very similar type of composition.
やっぱ NA の見るようになったからちょっとこの人がどのチームとか分かるようになってきたね。みんな推しが増えたんじゃない？ガルルはちょっと春推しなんですけど。
Big team to have taken out here. Now checking in with Optic Gaming, someone that we got to see in the highlights with a pretty epic fight yesterday as well up against X.
それから受けながら見てる。ナイス。
We could still stand to see a little bit more out of.
ご飯食べながら見てる。
Giving some love to Optic, even though they didn't have the best day yesterday, they kind of found themselves ramping up by the end of the day. Despite even having a lacking last game, they still got second place. I do believe in that game.
ガルルの声さ、初め入りにくくない？マイクに乗ってなくない？ゲーム中多分ボソボソ喋ってんだろうな、ガルル。ちょっとマイクの設定とかをなんとかしないとと思って。アルブラとロー同じチームなの。あ、そう。アルブラどこだっけチーム？あ、カラカラさん、こんがるです。あ、じゃます。おはよう。あ、フェイズやっぱスナイプダウン。おはよう。みんなご飯食べたかい
？Lately as well, we saw tons of fights taking place here yesterday
お腹いっぱいになってきたんだ。
FaZe now moving up to this building, seeing if they can maybe get some damage down on the squad on the tracks that's trying to pop some shots in their direction.
メインを食べてないのにお腹いっぱいになってきた。
FaZe just needs to be smart about this push in, okay? They have enough space right now that they do have a few options, but the longer they take to make those decisions,
お嬢さん、お尻どうも。
be in. Everybody obviously really
Hello.
anticipating where this zone's going to be shifting right now, and FaZe
日本語、日本の方でしょ？おはよう、今日も。
portion of the edge that they're in is relatively safe.
日本の女性ナイスお尻 Thank you!
Up we go to the skies, but where will we land with so many of the buildings already in thermal station taken up? What are they gonna try to scan out here with a
日本の女性お尻きれいおもろいマジで。
but they're still gonna land on the outside of it. They're gonna share this.
おはよう今日もありがとう。
upstairs area not taken up. There's spikes, but that's not gonna even be enough.
家入ってきたこれ。
I do not know how they just snuck right in that corner. It will not go unpunished though, as there is lots
引っ越し。
of chaos being dumped right onto FaZe by
まあでも
Sentinels.
あーセンチネルズか。ランボーのとこだ。
Not only actually picking up, but needing to pick it up if they want to continue and solidifying their spot when it comes to playoffs. Now we've got both of these teams occupying this
お
space.
尻おはよう。俺はお尻でね。私の名前はお尻ではありません。
Phenomenally yesterday, finding themselves in a bit of engagement here. Already Baxlon is down.
Amu trying to reset right now. Tier 2 avoids that thermite, gets the res with the gold knockdown.
こういうコメントをしてる人がさ、
Scurry falls incredibly low, but he's doing his best to give
普段どういう生活してるかめっちゃ気になるんだよな、ガルル。やべじゃ煽ってるとかじゃないし、ただ普通の好奇心なんだけど。いや、こういうコメントガルル嫌いじゃないんだよね、なんか。こういうコメント嫌いじゃないんだけど、ゲーム中にパッとこれ見て来てたらおおってなるけど、いや普段はなんか会社のなんかいい役職についてるとか、そういう可能性あって面白いよね。
Takes a moment to just breathe and reassess the situation. Onmu on that off angle right now. Charge rifle shots coming in too from across the way. This is a
そういうコメントする人って意外とね、しっかりしてる人多いんだよ。
force this, knowing that there are a couple teams looking at them from off in the distance.
I like this spot's energy. Let's go. I like the wraparound right now from 100 Thieves. And I like how you pointed out, Glitter. Despite Optic sharing that little slight low ground right next to
モデレーター、うちにモデレーターがいたら多分一発目でアウトだったんだろうな、この人。
All the other teams are already in thermal. We know that there's somebody already on the high ground, the sniper tower. TSM is sharing that space on right underneath. But the moment you drop down, you're giving that space for another team to take up on the high ground. Noxious in a lot of trouble. Their back's pinned against the wall of this next circle. And look who's waiting for them on the rotation. It's drug-free, and they're positioned nicely. But once they get involved in this next circle, you already know there's going to be another team waiting for them in that choke point.
Maybe this is the recovery that drug-free needed after yesterday. We talked about the potential fight here.
わあ、登ってこられちゃった。
Looks like Optic is making that push up and forcing the dark veil out. Theirs goes down as well. So
うわ、
try to continue
カー
this
テン
chase
え
of
ぐ
Under
ー。
Thieves backing off though. Not really wanting to get into this too
彼
much.
苦手なものから食べる派だからお腹いっぱいになって好きなもの食べれないってあれなんだよ。男の人喋り出した。ああ、びっくりした。チーム VC か。
I'm gonna queue them. They're all back there. They're all back there.
I don't have wall to swing them. Here, take this stroke. Is it a duo, maybe?
I have 2 ult cells. I'm popping 2 ult cells. It might be. It might be, yes.
We only saw 2 when we flew in.
Just hold for me while I pop these.
うん、両悪フリー落ちた。
I'm staring. We can rotate back out into the open on this one.
Nah, it's
too.
3. It's 3. It's 3.
Okay. I'm dodging
that. Yeah, I dodged it. I mean, don't they have Valk?
They should just play that side and
we can go back to our old spot on this next zone.
Yeah.
The rock?
Yes, my ping is
should we just take?
Alright, we had to jump out because the fight we were anticipating between FaZe and Sentinels, Vicky, it is all kicking off right now and things are about to get a little bit rough. Sentinels looking very comfortable right now, getting some damage down onto FaZe.
Keon playing this like it's a horror story, and Rambo has other plans for snipe down. Huge with the trade for trade. Sentinels only have a Keon up and left.
いや、人生本当にこういう時悲しい。
This is insane. The 1v1
足元トゲトゲ出してしまえ。
Can he get the crack? That's the question. Keon has the health advantage, but can he play through the knockdown? He gets cracks. He finishes them off, but that's still not enough. There's still that one player alive in the corner.
I am so stressed right now. I cannot believe that the
Nice.
absolutely saved Phony's life for a little bit there, but in the end, it's Keon who clutches up, not only finishing out the fight. No! And then getting partied and taken out after all of that effort.
ソロがぎょった。
That's what you get for not letting me put my portal, says Sleepy Panda as he walks away with the feeling of
Yabe,
his teammates. Now he gets griefed by Team Diverge
あ
on
れ
the high ground.
100T こんなとこ来て
One
る
after another as they fall down like dominoes. It was just a matter of time. And this is why, Glitter, this is why it is so important for these thermostation circles to get there first. Because then you're just put into everybody's line of sight when you have to traverse through that lava.
その詰める時にも使えるじゃん。扉閉めちゃうのって。こっち出てこれないようにするとか。あれいいよな。使い道によってはめちゃめちゃいいよな。彼らもたまに閉じ込めちゃうんだけど、昨日閉じ込めた時にたまたま味方が裏から回って出れなくなった敵を撃ってくれてたけど、あれハマると強いよな。
I like this look from NRG. They also predicted this amazingly. Optic trying to get the reset after coming out on top of that fight. So many teams have fallen in that next circle. LTC still alive. Meat Lovers only has fun up and alive too. TSM, you mentioned they've been popping off in the kill feed. But we talk about some of these squads, Glitter. Optic being one of those louder squads right now for this first game. And even looking at the weapon loaders that they got rocking. The gold R9, I mean, talk about Chef's Kiss.
味方の邪魔にはならんし。
out was Lanimals, a team that we were looking at to be pretty comfortable in this zone due to it being their drop. So Optic has just been really, really solid at rotating in at the right times and taking out the squads in front of them or disengaging when necessary, specifically talking about the time that they were trying to take that fight with 100 Thieves and both squads decided to back off. Now NRG here trying to break in on the Caustic and seeing if they can grab some space here. You know CLG is not going to be excited about that.
They could do it right now. Mamba only has those small shield cells.
どの前に設置でくれ使わせられるかめっちゃ強い。ああ、なるほどね。
They're fine here, but they're gonna have to start moving soon in that next circle. Yeah, they're safe currently right now on this little sliver of a corner of this building.
めちゃめちゃくれ使ってくるもんな。
Gonna continuously pulling towards that south side that they have to exit eventually.
全部使い切るんじゃないかぐらい使うもん。
All of these teams trying to at least clear out the areas directly near them, so when that push exodus happens, they at least know the surrounding area is safe, but there is just too much action going on right now. You can see Optic, LTC, 100 Thieves have somehow managed to get the high ground again and keep themselves away from everyone because Optic currently has LTC in their sights.
What is with those spikes on that mobile respawn? I mean, if it wasn't tempting enough, I definitely don't want to possess that anytime soon with all the spikes right there. But look at the way that these teams are sharing this side of thermal. LTC behind one side of the pipes. You have the other team on the high ground. Optic Gaming on the other side. That's like 4 teams alone sharing that one section. And TSM's about to have to rotate in their line of sight while avoiding CLG on the right.
CLG and NRG will
これ壊さないと一方的だし、しかもなんか戦闘中に飛び出しめられたらこっちから出たいよーってなるもんね。なんか精神的な圧かけられる。飛び出し待ってるし、あ、じゃあこっちはもう放置でいいやって思ったら敵はそこからシュッて開けて入ってくるわけね。まさかの下でファイトが始まっとる。
I'm worried about the squad off to the right, but thankfully with that catalyst wall and the change that we've been seeing change up here for TSM, they clean up MLS without having to use their own catalyst wall. That's huge. Saving that was big for them because this is what's going to help them in this rotation, especially with the Seer ults coming up. 100 Thieves are on the high ground, but they still have 3 other teams underneath them. Meanwhile, CLG's cleaning up NRG that was underneath their building.
There were lots of trades there too. That's going to be a rough position themselves in, which means TSM's going to push in instantly, clean that up, wipe them off that side of the zone, and TSM now all of a sudden find themselves in a much safer position. Nowhere near the rest of the fights that need to be happening. As 100 Thieves drop down, Optic Gaming is now eliminated.
100T と TSM ってどこだ？
Shoot the diamonds. Just shoot the diamonds, boys. That's what the comm sounded like for 100 Thieves just yesterday. Very simple and clean.
なんだ？
But yeah, AJC's on the other side right now. They have to start moving forward.
I couldn't see if it was LTC or AJC. It's AJC
いいとこ乗ってますね。
and surviving the entire time. TSM though absolutely melted
Hard.
Thieves and all. That is going to be left between them and
Oh,
victory. A few more KP and talk about a team that needs it.
燃やしてる燃やしてる。
Wake up, honey. We got the TSM doc that just dropped about the CEO, and they were
3回いるん
not
だよなこれ。
satisfied with their week one performance. They're here. How is not? Burrows and Reps still trying to find different angles, but with Burrows being on the back, he can get on the other side. Nice beaming from Reps. And with the charge rifle, it's gonna be the nail in the coffin right here. They clean up
Nice,
the rest of the
OGG.
competition, and TSM take game number 1.
ゲームナンバーワン。
This is something that I
いいですね。
think a lot of people
最初
are seeing coming. TSM is
一発目から
a squad that if they are playing from behind tends to do typically well the next time
ほら、
around.
ハルもやっぱカタリスト使ってるってことはやっぱガレルも使って正解ってことだね。
They looked so much better. We knew that the first weekend was going to be rough for a lot of our team, Stiff.
Look, Raven was streaming this week, and I dropped by his stream, and I was like, hey, is TSM in Bankai training the past week and a half? And for my anime fans out there, you guys completely understand. You know exactly
TSM が
what I'm talking
21位だ
about
ったんだ
here.
ね、
We
合
were
計で。
expecting them to fully unleash the Bankai today, and they come away with a map
興奮
victory.
しとんで。
And I couldn't be
興奮しとるで。
more excited to see that because the hard work, the training, it's clearly paying off. And look, I called it out. The moment I saw Hal back on Catalyst, we saw this happen. The
な
moment
んちゃん、
Aurora
そう、
was testing with it,
TSM、
and a
そう
lot
そう
of our
そう。
North
やっぱカ
American
タリ
teams
ストは
were
いじる多い。
Is Catalyst something? And it was Hal who was originally the person that was testing it out for TSM. And
Garu
boy,
も
is it paying off.
カタリスト使うなら
I
IGL
mean,
しろ。
not only that, but we talked about some of these other teams that we
とはならんわ
were
な。
potentially anticipating or hoping to see in a top spot. We saw 100 Thieves there finding themselves in a top 3 position and being consistent yet
難しい
again,
ね。
especially after their performance
難
coming
しい
through
ね。
from yesterday. And then we saw some of the teams picking it up that needed to get some points on the board. And this is just the trend for today. I'm convinced of it. We had AJC in those final moments. We saw LTC down there. And we had that early game aggression, Vicky.
うん、チェイサさん、かやちゃん、こんにちは。こんがれら、おはよう。ありがとうございます。朝早く、みんな、ちゃんと起きとるね。
But that was just game number 1. Seeing how on the catalyst is interesting. How is that going to play out into his comps and how he's going to try to make the move and rotation for the rest of his squad? We saw right there at the end what building up that catalyst did for TSM and what even allowed them to go in for a third party on the CLG versus NRG fight after they came out on top when MSL dropped down from the sky. So I want to see, or rather MLS, Joel, I want to see what TSM is going to be able to work with this catalyst because it's obviously working already.
Hey, so many questions to be answered, and so far we got one of them. TSM, they're coming back with vengeance today here, and that rematch is Group A versus B. We're going to send Glitter to a quick break, and I'm going to steal Vicky for map number 2, and we're going to break down a little bit of the action that we witnessed there in match number 1, and I think that's a really good point that you brought up, especially with Hal being kind of the shot caller for TSM in particular, putting themselves on Catalyst. Catalyst now, we know she can be used defensively to kind of bunker down the doors. We know she can kind of pair up that Dark Veil for those aggressive pushes, and
ベダンクとボーはどういうことだ
I mean, how the former
ベ
race
ッ
main from
ド
back in the day
ベ
loves
ッ
to
ダン
really
クと
extend out and get in the
何を
action.
食べて
And I
る
feel like Big E
味
needs
噌
that,
汁飲ん
right?
でま
He
した
needs another person while Reps needs to
味
shine
噌汁飲んで
kind
ま
of
し
anchoring
た
down the fort.
Yeah, it's a back and forth that we've seen from this
英語わ
squad
かんねえんだよ
forever
な
now, and seeing a lot of these other teams now really come in. Optic Gaming came out cleanly wiping a squad from the low ground. We saw a lot of back and forth between Sentinels and FaZe.
ありがとう
FaZe dropping down though, despite having the advantage at first. It was Keon from
ベダンク
Sentinels
とありが
that
とう
popped
だっ
up.
て
Then Sleepy Panda had other words after being the solo for their squad. Rotating away was so much of these squads that were here from the very beginning. In that moment, that Catalyst wall meant so much for TSM because it prevented Energy from not only trying to greet them, but it also allowed the engagement from the CLG fight to come in and allow TSM to clean up the rest of what was left from that previous fight.
Ooh, sweet going off with the hit fire from the flatline. I know there were some nerfs to hit fire.
〇〇についてありがとうございます
Flatline still kind of reigns
もうわかん
supreme
ね
in the AR choice for me for hit firing, and it just looked really
Hello?
nice. Unfortunately, they're gonna fall there, and TSM really start positioning themselves to take the lead. They
オランダ語
answering well, like everything
マジ
played to perfection, and something that you guys called out in the game. It
本
was
当だ
all about rotating into thermal
何々
station
につい
early,
てありがとうございました
setting up shop, getting kind of
どう
your
いうことなん
end
だろう
game situated, and TSM was one of the first teams that actually
チェイサーさん何でも
rotated
分かっ
into
ちゃう
thermal
ね
station from what I saw.
マジ
Yeah, leaving Lava Siphon and wasting no time. We saw other teams try to do the same thing. AJC, after coming out of their win in the 50-50 versus CCE, they immediately took to the skies after getting the loot that they needed, and they were already met with a contention off of their congestion point that they wanted to hold in. In that congestion point, a lot of teams wanted to figure out a way to rotate to the south to thermal, but when most of the final circles force you to traverse through that lava, that's why you see these teams go quick with the rotation, especially with circles like that. You don't want to risk getting called out with a late skyward dive.
Yeah, they're really tough. It is one of the hardest ones to play in my opinion, but let's go ahead and look at the results from match number 1 and see just how they fared. TSM was able to pick up 9 eliminations coupled with a first place finish for 21 points. But then you look to the likes of AJC, 13 points, 100 Thieves. Hey, the consistency, they're carrying that momentum forward. Oh. Yesterday, finding 11 points there, but you have to look at teams like
Nihon Japan time is morning. やばすぎ。オランダ語翻訳。
Yeah, that's nice to see from Optic because they've had a pretty rough start on World's Edge where they find more success on Storm Points. Here they are, though, having a pretty good game on World's Edge. CLG, we saw them right next to NRG. MLS dropped down on TSM. Now taking a look at the second page of what this first match brought in for us. Seeing complexity there. Team Diverge, we saw Sleeping Panda as the lone warrior trying to get away after he was trying to portal his teammates away to safety before he got hit with that Seer tactical. Sentinels still stay on the other side, as well as FaZe actually not having the strongest game within their first start here for day 4.
Yeah, but I mean, it is only just the beginning, Vicky. It was just map number 1, and there are so many questions to be answered. But we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we come back, map number 2.
やばい、間違えたかもしれん。間違えたかもしれん。これか。
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
国際交流。ってこと？
Welcome back, everyone. I told you it was going to be a quick break, and we are back just like that. Spider Tip and Vicky Kitty are going to be bringing you all the action here. For map number 2, Glitter's going to take a little bit of a break, and what is it, Spider Kitty? Is that what we were saying last time, Vicky?
始まりません。
Spider Kitty?
めっちゃ笑っとったで今。
I don't know if I
めっ
like
ちゃ
that
笑っ
one,
とった
but
で
you
今
know
女の
what?
人。
We are out here
言う
and
と
we
っ
are
た
on
よ。
World's Edge. No spiders are. Yeah, you remember
お
that?
腹いっぱいだ。
Dude,
ちょっと勝ち残しちゃおう。
freaking creature. I was like, what is happening? But we wanted to get in on the action fast because we knew this contest was happening over at Countdown. It's going to be AJC and CCE going in hot, and
ごちそうさまでした。
with the numbers advantage.
え、これ初動ファイト？
Orioles and both that are looking to seal the deal, and just like that, CCE is down and dusted.
CCE keeps getting bullied in these 50-50s, and this is going to keep happening, Tiv. I don't think this is going to stop unless they want to try to contest on the other side of Countdown. Maybe an option out here, but it is the fight for all the good loot that's inside this middle hole right here of Countdown that you activate through one of the screens on each end of Countdown. But AJC comes out on top, and the individual players on this team are such insanely talented fraggers. So it's going to be scary to figure out what CCE's got in store for us. And talk about leaving the POI with some great loot too, because now you also get to exit with 2 purple Evos. And taking a look at the overhead map, we got a circle pooling towards the epicenter fragment west area. This is going to be interesting because you won't be having as quick rotations as we saw in the last circle in Thermal Station.
NRG 早いね、動くの。
Potentially, and we kind of had one of these in the EMEA broadcast earlier, albeit it was more towards that Frag West. It had one building with the kind of overarching high ground from the epicenter, so it's going to be really tough to see where you're going to position yourself early. You look at Overlook, they already have that ring console there. They could hit that, begin their rotation. They know they don't have to go far. There's a ring console for Climatizer as well, so FaZe will have that information. TSM looking to get through the chokehold early and set up shop. They just need to make sure that if they're going to early rotate and take one of the buildings, specifically with that survey beacon, that's going to be able to get that scan at least once to have that information. But I think you brought up some really good points.
これは現実でもコメントでもできるよ、英語。へえ、すごいね。
Groups A versus B. CCE is actually contesting FaZe and Climatizer, and they elected to take on AJC and try to create dominance there. It's not necessarily working. Team Diverge no longer contesting Drug Free. So Meat left Dome, went to Fragment East, you know, split that with Dark. So a lot of different changes. As you bring up the good point. It's always good to fight for your drop spot POI. Hopefully you find something that works. But CLG absolutely getting ripped by the Sentinels as they've tried to make their rotation in.
RKN showing what a problem the Spitfire still remains to be after not having to loading this entire clip with this blue extended light mag. They got that knock on the player, and they also have information that there is a knockdown shield waiting for them on the other side. But it's about getting there first before another team gets involved here, since they're trying to duke it out from so far away.
Ooh, I hear a Nemesis and I see RKN's health going down dramatically fast. And you talk about Sheila being your worst nightmare. I think the Nemesis might be mine. So very, very unfortunate.
Talking about the pick rates, talking about the Rampart that we're now seeing make its way into an NA. Sentinels is in trouble. RKN's gonna get reds. No gold knockdown shield, but you get the grip with the Arc Stars. Even with the barricades on the door, it's not gonna help you out. You try to run for your life, but right behind you, you got another greedy player, and it's the rest of the team of TSM with their quick rotates, cleaning up Sentinels, going down in 19. Gotta talk about the pick rates on the top here, because with Wraith making her way back into the meta, Bangalore still being on top, Watson also sneaking her way in, TSM have made some adjustments with how being on this Catalyst, the calls are probably going crazy real quick. Not only when it comes to those Catalyst walls, once he does have it online, but with the rotation options that they have, that wall does provide once they are engaging in a fight.
Yo, Hal probably said Sen City, now it's my city. They just took over that from the Sentinels, and they used the Dark Veil kind of to push up into it, and I really like that for them. You can see Reps is already hitting the ultimate accelerants, trying to get that Seer exhibit up and at him as soon as possible, because that's kind of the key to success, right? If you're going up in a fight, you want to make sure that, especially if it's isolated or it's a third party, you can use that exhibit for more information, but it's kind of a war of who has Seer ult, and can you force it out of the team that you're fighting and potentially destroy it, or make them burn it before you do?
I'm really happy you bring that up. That's usually why we were seeing so many cryptos in the lobby, still spread out across different regions. Looking at APAC too, crypto also negates the Seer ult once it's unleashed first before an EMP comes out, but we don't really get to see that much crypto here in NA. NRG also likes to take their time, but they like to predict where that final circle is going to be pulling, but it's about the opportunity that arises for them. You see Sweet with the purple Evo, but they're sharing this space with two other teams in Fragment East. I specifically really like the position from TSM for how long are they safe here before a team wraps up behind them and puts them in a pinch situation, which is going to enable the squad to exit out of Fragment East to get involved in that fight.
I think that's a really solid point. You think too, like, what is potentially Godspot for that end game? And yes, it could be Godspot, but as teams look to fight for Godspot, sometimes taking a position too early can be detrimental to your success as well. But yeah, I mean, it seems as if that Bankai training or anything like really paid off. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing thus far. The two purples, the blue, they have flipped over a new leaf, and you have to think, coming off winning Split 1 playoffs and going back into Split 2 Pro League and not necessarily getting that strong start, that would be expected.
YouTube はこのコメントをコピーして翻訳インパクト突っ込めるようになったらマジでいい。
And you have to be realizing like
だ
that's
から
not
携帯
living
のア
up
プ
to
リで
their
見てるから
standards.
か
So
な。
today is that course of
携帯のア
action.
プリで
But
コピーできんから。
another team, Vicky, that I want to talk about that I
そんなこ
thought
と
was
ないよ。
gonna have some
いや、すごい
really
よ、
solid
チェイサーさ。
expectations coming into Split 2 is gonna be
まあでも
land.
全部手で打った今。
Particular.
翻
As we
訳機
see
に
them
突
hit
っ
their
込んだ手
rotation,
で
they're
打っ
trying to
て。
jump over this team.
そ
They're
したら
gonna
なん
get
かありが
peppered,
とう。
but no
う
real
ち
shock
いい一
to
日をあり
me.
が
You
と
can
う
see
っ
most of
て。
the damage they
ちょっ
have
と
is
離れてま
just
した。
from the ring as they're looking
で
to
だからガルルは
take
素敵な
pretty
一日
extensive
をって言っ
rotation
とい
over
た。
here through Skyhook.
日本語入った
I like to highlight this team because they've also made some
日本
adjustments.
語
Moving
も
out of
上
their
手よ、
lackluster
チェイサーさん。
performance in week 1.
す
This is
ご
the
いマ
team
ジ
in, I
で。
believe it was day 2, where they started to find
い
their
やさっきマジ
stride,
でっ
kind
て
of.
使ってたもんね、
You
言
kind of
葉。
put it on the border in Stormpoint. Now
めちゃ
changing
め
things
ちゃ
up, they
上
want to
級
replicate
者。
that on World's Edge. Drug-free
マ
basically
ジで
having
は
the
日
opposite problem like
本
we've
独
highlighted
特
already before,
の
but they are looking
造
great
語だ
in
から
terms of
ね。
loot double. Gold Evo,
造語って
they
いう
got
かなん
Sura
か
with the red Evo already.
正
Probably
しい
exiting
言
out
葉じゃ
after
ないから
using a
それも分かってる
replicator
の
because
が
this
す
team
ごい。
has no issue taking
現
their
在
time
翻
to
訳機を
rotate
使
into
用
that
してい
next
ます。
circle.
おお
Wondering how they're going to make this next move after rotating now
そう、
into the
お
private
互いね、
west
翻
area
訳機
because
で
we could
相
see
手
that a
の
lot of teams that like to rotate
国
to
の
the
言
north
葉
side of
に
the
した
map
ら
are going to
できる
start
んだよ
finding
ね。
some sort of contention through epicenter
会話
and could
が。こ
overlook
っち
some
も
of
ガ
the
ルルも日
squads
本
that
語で
are
打
still
ったの
rotating
を
outside of
翻訳
Fragment
してパッ
West.
と送ったらいいだけだし。
Very solid points. Drug free on your screen right now. And last matchup between A versus B, Drug Free kind of started off with back-to-back wins in World's Edge and caught a lot of people's eyes and attention. They're going to smoke out that survey beacon and get a lot of that information. Now, it's very similar. I know, Vicky, you kind of mentioned it. It's that map room scan that you would see kind of back in Crypto's room on Kings Canyon, and it gives you that snapshot of where all the teams are. You can only scan it once per team right there, so they wouldn't be able to rescan that one again. And as we pull up the map overlook, this is kind of where we're going. Think of the teams that landed overlook, Sentinels in particular, already
こ
out
の
of
人は
this
APEX
lobby,
が
and
好
they
きな
would
の
have
か、
had, you'd
それ
think,
とも
that drop spot POI advantage. They don't even have
Vtuber
to rotate
が好
very
きなの
far,
か。
but it's a matter of the teams
翻
still
訳機は欲
making
しいん
their
よ。
way
あ、そうね、
in.
翻訳機
Lan
ね。
and Skyhook.
やっぱちょっと
Drug free, just scan the beacon and they're heading south.
頼りないよ
Hunter
ね。
finally trying to make their way
わか
through
るよ。
Fragment West.
でもやっぱあらかじめ翻訳機を使っていますっていうことを言っといたら、まあなんか、ああ、多分こういうことが言いたいんだろうなっていうのはわかるよね。だからガルルさ、今日、昨日春に DM 入れたとき、ゴリゴリに翻訳機使って、翻訳機使ってるので言葉が変だったらすいませんって最後に入れといたわ。まあ時間的にね、返信来なかったんですけど。
with drug free soon.
It begs to differ. I mean, they're in a sense mirroring 100
ね、
Thieves
そうな
at
んか
this
日本
point. Yeah,
の
they hit the Valk rotation and they might
言
have
葉
jumped
遣い、
over
言葉
them
遣いっていうか
and
なんか
just a
その
smidge,
文章
but they
と
were going to be walking in behind
違うから
one
ね、なん
after
か。
the other. So trying to take a little bit more
だから
southern
マッサンに
approach
聞いたね。あの
as
人
opposed
英
to
語
where
でき
100
る
Thieves
か
is going.
ら、
I think it's relatively a
春
good
の
move
視点を
for
見ら
them.
したいって
They
言っ
want
た
to make
時
sure they
はなん
can
て
get
言っ
over
たらいいんですかね。
fragment
向こうではウォッ
without
チパーティー
really
ですかっ
running
て聞い
into
たら、
large resistance. You can see over
まあ
on the
ミラー
left,
配
you've got
信
a
とかウォッ
Vexy.
チパーティーとかじゃな
It's
くても
interesting,
春
right?
の
Because
視点
anytime
を
you see
配信したいんだけどいいって聞いてみたら、そういう感じの言葉の方がいいよ、わかりやすいんじゃないみたいな。なるほどね。
And now they've ended up on different teams, so really interesting. It's like
ミ
you
ラー
are
配信
typically
とかウォッチ
going
パー
up
ティーと
against
かじゃなく
someone
て
that
春
you
の
might
視点
have
を
played
配信してい
competitively
い
with before, and I
って
always
聞
think
い
that's
た
really
らっ
fun.
て言われて。
Yes,
まあ
just
そう、なる
trying
ほ
to
ど
pit
ね
them
と思って。
against each other, play style that you already are used to versus
あ、そしたら
another
いつか
player
日本
that
へ英語
you
教
kind
師
of
になっ
know
て、
how
あ、いい
their
じゃん、いい
thought
じゃん。
processes and their
グッドグッド、
rotations.
ベリーグ
I
ッ
also
ド。
want to say, I love how you highlighted what Sentinels does when they
ガ
land
ル
an
の友
overlook
達
in
に
their
も、
quick rotation.
まあめちゃめ
And
ちゃ
how
日本語が
TSM
上手
basically
な
said, that's our train card
フ
now.
ィリ
They
ピンの方が
fought
い
for that
て、
train card. And with their team
う
composition,
ん、英
how
語も
being
できる
on
し、
this
そのまあ
catalyst
フィリピン
now,
のなんてい
this
うのか、
plays into
タ
their
ガ
game
タガ
plan
ログ
well.
語
We've seen the circle pull
に
exactly
喋れ
where
るし、
they're
まあ
on
英語
top of,
バリバリう
which
ま
is
い
going
し、
to
日本
force
語
the
もバリ
teams
バリう
if
ま
the
いし、
circle doesn't pull towards no name to
やっ
funnel
ぱ
into the line
英
of
語の教師み
TSM
たい
where
な
they
したい
can play
なっ
off
て言って
this
たね。
little cliffside nicely to hold a head glitch. But again, it is the squads that will be rotating from the north side, exiting out of Epi, going through Overlook on the eastern side, exiting out of those big walks where the Winter Express usually comes out of. That would be my concern for TSM and how they want to play the inside of this train car after being reinforced the doors.
頑張って日本語喋ってみてマジで可愛いよな。
Going after this, we have had some really disgusting pulls, Vicky. We think the zone is going one way, and then it completely shifts to the opposite direction, which
英語の勉強のために友達とずっと英語で喋ってみるかとか言ってるけど無理だ。韓国人の日本語の発音めっちゃわかるわかるわかるわかる。それはめっちゃわかるわ。
On the other side, quite an interesting 3v3 here, Vicky.
なんとかと思いますので、みたいな。なんとかだと思いますので、日本語だったら。と思いますんで、みたいななんかね、言ってくる人とかいて可愛い。なんかさ、東京とか行ったらさ、コンビニの店員さんみんな外国の方じゃない？めちゃめちゃそういう印象あるんだよな。東京。めちゃめちゃ微笑ましくレジしてもらってるいつも。
On Rampart on the timeline, and you know, we may see some reenactments here today, but
ランパートいるぞ。
I hear it, actually, Vicky. I hear it right now.
バンバンさんがテンション上がる。
The PTSD settling in. You hear it zooming through, but you also see the squad from a distance, which
外国の人相手だと何でも許せるよな。頑張って英語も喋ってるし、頑張って日本語も喋ってるし、頑張って仕事もするし。
So what a better way to boost up your evil shields than to try to shoot at this fight from afar without giving up your position.
やべえ、今ローステンだった？うわ、チーム、どこのチームだったっけって見ようと思ってたの忘れてた。
Totally full there as well, so they're just looting up a storm. But you know, it was really good getting that listening in the last time we saw ALGS meet up and just listening to Dark Zero and the passion they had when they won that Storm Point match. I was really excited to see what it was going to look like coming back to ALGS. That was unlike anything. That was so hype.
Yeah, but not having the first game that they were expecting, and Asura already being the last one alive here for a drug-free could say the same. Crypto flying right above his head as he tries to take it down. He gets beamed. Meat lovers now cleaning up what is left of drug-free. That Nemesis just goes so crazy. He looked up and he just got deleted.
Tag Zainu and Funk. This has been a very interesting journey. We talk about a lot of our teams that might not have an org to represent, and Meat Lovers being one of them. And they found like brief moments of success. And I feel like it's the consistency, right? We always ask for that with some of our teams, especially if maybe they don't have like the top tier names that we're used to seeing. This building right here, just holding on the fragment. Who got 100 thieves, drop down from the roof and is trying to make an entry. That man has a PK in his hand, and looks like Harry has a rampage and a PK as well. So that just sounds like a very scary duo.
日本の中学校、高校、小学校で習う英語しかできん。
currently looking to take a fight with 100 thieves. So let's jump into a quick listening presented by W.
今ので褒めてもらえるのめっちゃ嬉しいな。やる気が出るわ。
There's a khaki on this doorway, by the way.
You guys might get aped, like play our fences like when I do.
おお。でもヘイトを買わないために打たないと。おお、まず。
I cracked two almost. I got one clipped in the back by a different team. HP though. Give me the knock. Holding. We're getting colluded on by 3 teams right now. 3 teams are colluding against us.
How did the arc? Wait, no.
Alright, guys. We just got colluded on by 3 different teams.
Wow, we are back in Sweden is out here accusing the member of the teams and Fragment of collusion. Looks like Glitch Energy wanted to get in on the mix here with 100 thieves. Ain't no party like a third party, Vicky.
上の扉から撃っていた敵は別場ですか？ウルト出す時のさ、片い人の手ダサいよな。走ったら。おー、すごい。カーテン。
Poor Rat had no idea what was to come other than the 2 walls that just stood in front of him. That was too big of a wall to climb.
Honestly, one of the most horrifying things I've scene, and GE trying to take that upper height advantage on the rock, and you can see right now Reed's able to grab the opening damage onto Anu, and Vectron, just like that 100 Thieves not going to be able to survive the rotation out of Fragment, so it begs to differ of will they be able to keep on rotating themselves after drawing so much attention, and who's going to be on the other side.
Glitch is doing it, so is Optic in the feed. They're popping up. They take care of Native, hiding underneath this rock, though, as a team that's trying to contest Glitch while Reed is just trying to re-stabilize. Also saw a drill somewhere in the distance. That's probably meat lovers who are playing underneath that rock right there. You see that drill coming in once again, making sure nobody could reset. TSM have moved out of their own spot to try to take the high ground over CLG.
This ring is looking to be really tough to play. A lot of the teams are going to have to hold on to whatever cover they can find before making a play for that last ditch ever at FaZe. They're still one of the teams alive. We still have 10 squads. Look at this zone. FaZe on your screen, relatively healthy, relatively safe, trying to hold on to the high ground for as long as possible, and they just need to focus on their game. Chaos that is happening there in the Elim feed. Oh no, reps going in.
The
spikes are the nail in the coffin. It's the finisher coming in. Snipedown says hello TSM. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much. FaZe is in such a good spot right now too, on the high ground, but they're not in that next circle just yet. They have to drop down. They're gonna be able to get some extra loot, but FaZe, let's break down their rotation. They land in Climatizer. They rotated towards the east side on the high ground that the rocks provided for them to take some poking shots at the squads that were exiting out of Epi. Now they could clean up the rest of the lobby who was forced outside of their rotation, because you talk about some disgusting circle pools, Tiff. Well, look at where the circle was pulling outside of towards the under area of this hilltop that FaZe was holding in. With a very interesting composition, with the Mad Maggie being out, Fun out here with the raid. They're cleaning up Glitch energy. There was nowhere for them to hide now as they get involved in this Optic gaming fight.
Optic looking to drop down and prevent anyone from rotating in on them, but this needs to be quick because you have to think of all the teams that are going to have their back. Good shield swaps, and now it begs to differ. Where is Dark Zero? Here they are, meat lovers fully eliminated. They are just completely frying onto CLG, but they have the caustic Vicky.
Actually, Dark Zero, Optic Gaming, CLG now leaving only up to iShiny to come through. 5 squads left, and FaZe is frying everybody who's left underneath them. Look at Snipedown. He's got enough flight ammo to make the swap up off of the heavy ammo off this car. He's gonna do just that. He can also fly right back up if he needs. Trying to follow up though. They want to take advantage of the fight that's happening over here. While Moby gets called in, Optic Gaming's cleaning everything else up.
3 squads remaining, knocked 7 elims. You're locking killers, but I don't think they're going to be able to reset from this phase on the high ground. Pushes immediately, and just like that, Optic Gaming is a 3v3 fight. Dark Zero versus FaZe.
An episode of Deja Vu right now after what we saw after day number 1. We're seeing it go down again to FaZe. Where are you climbing? You can't get up there for free. Dark Zero lose out on 2, and there's only one more left for Dark Zero before FaZe takes game number 2.
いる場所が良すぎたね、フェーズ。
Nice clean wingman shot.
Wingman shot.
Well-executed 3v3 fight from FaZe. You heard Snipedown on the
マシュマロ
broadcast
に
in
なん
that
かめちゃ
interview.
めちゃ
This
いい
is
文
one
章
of
が
the
通って
most
たんだな。
dangerous versions of myself. I love to make sure that I am not counted out. And Glitter, welcome back. I can only imagine how you feel about that.
That was a phenomenal performance by FaZe. I mean, to be fair, the fact that we end up with DZ and FaZe as the final fight in that match is already incredibly cool, but I went back and I checked the stats really quickly, and I don't know if FaZe just needs like a game to warm up, but on day 1, they got 3rd in game number 2. On day 2, they won game number 2, and now we're on day 4 and they just won game number 2 again. So that's huge.
Consistency. Consistency is key here, Vicky. And I mean, look, that was so beautifully, like, we see We see the jetpack going up. They're trying to take high ground, and bro Face was like, this is a no-fly zone. Glitter, this is those moments, right, where we sit here as casters, as people that get to work events like this, that is just so exciting. Those are the fights that I live for.
I mean, that was a treat to watch. You guys did a great job casting it, but it's also because that, I think, phase was maybe a question mark for people, just making sure with that new roster, is that because they had a strong first weekend, or is it something that's going to carry through the entire split? And now what we're seeing out of this roster, especially after we got to talk to Snipe Down yesterday, they are in it to win it. This is a solid team that people need to be afraid of.
ポジトレがね、強すぎた。マジでそう。あれはちょっともうどうにもならんですわって感じ。
Had they not taken so much damage on that initial fight previously before FaZe had walked over and been able to kind of clean that up, you saw at one point, I believe it was 10 eliminations, and they were trying to get the res off on 2. Optic Gaming has been one of the largest question marks since Split 1, right? It's been really tough. They've been trying to find their stride. They made a couple changes, and now honestly looking really good, Vicky.
Yeah, leaving out of Big Mod and Lava City, they have all the loot to work with, and they were fine. I think they left that game like with what, 11 KP or so. As we take a look at some of these highlights, I like how you noted Optic Gaming, because they were really strong in that final fight too. The catwall really helped them out as well, just get some extra cover to secure the KP that they needed. And of course, starting things off in game number 2 was very similarly to game number 1, was that 50-50 off the rip.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to maybe make a decision or make a change, or if they're going to keep running it. But it all started with so much action, and Dark Zero was kind of keeping an eye on a lot of these fights. Meat Lovers opening up really well, and every time I see people hit fire the Nemesis, I'm just like taking my notes and be like, why can't I make this happen? But Glitter, this push here on getting some of their comms, things got a little interesting.
There was just no energy to get out of that. I mean, they were collapsed on from every single possible angle, and they couldn't do a whole lot about it. Shortly after that, rotate away from that area, and this is where we start to watch Optic. But I'm glad that you brought them up, because we did kind of call them out, not for doing poorly at all, but maybe just not for having the same stellar performances that we would assume because of how much talent exists on that roster. Optic Gaming has come to play 2 games now where they've had phenomenal performances here for themselves, and they are looking incredibly strong.
Ooh, and this is one of the fights that kind of kicked it off, right? CLG versus Dark Zero down there, but it wasn't necessarily just those two in that fight. FaZe was always with them. They just kind of got some of their kills yoinked. I feel like Dark Zero was able to pick up some of the eliminations onto DZ or onto CLG as opposed to FaZe getting them, but holding that high ground and denying the fly zone there from the Valk, Vicky, just joy.
You're not allowed. No Valks allowed here on my cliff. FaZe came out, and
again,
I like to talk about these rotations because I always think it's so interesting to see how they are able to find this success, whether it be being patient and denying themselves loot early game to then loot up when they do find themselves in a fight mid to late game. But they did rotate from the north side of Climatizer all the way around. They're not contested. They're able to probe at some teams that were afar from them. We saw what happened to Lanimals when they try to get involved. I think that FaZe played that so well, and I like how you again highlighted Optic Gaming, because that was another team that was also quick on their rotations to get involved on the high ground.
Yeah, it's really tough. You think of the teams that are rotating from the southern kind of side of World's Edge, and anytime you have to push up to the north, you have all the choke points that you need to get through, and ring console information proves dividends. You can usually get that and kind of go for that call initially. I mean, TSM taking that really early rotation, moving straight in, taking out Sentinels early, and denying them the chance to even try and play a zone that would have been favored for that overlooked drop spot. It's just a lot of different things, right? And I'd love to look at the final circle if we could, because I want to see it once again potentially from a different POV, and let's see it. Glitter, I want you to kind of walk us through. I know you were lying in wait, so tell me about this.
Listen, I was just excited to see how this was going to play out, because I feel like this was one of like those they were able to navigate holding this position this entire time.
いたな、一人、この真ん中の人。途中から出てきたよ、確か。
Where we're like, okay, are they going to just be overly aggro? Are they going to inter? Are they going to maybe kind of rein it in just for a second and let everyone else do a lot of the heavy lifting for them? FaZe played this perfectly.
痛い。
Some really
チク
nice
チ
shots
クが
coming
痛
out
い。
of everybody on phase, and they
死んだ。
just held this high
つ
ground
ら。
while being able to have free damage, and it does not get any freer than this because once
あの
everybody
チク
had
チク
started
痛い
getting
よな。
picked up around them, the angles they had on the teams below were just too easy. Okay, and then at this point, could DZ have tried to bring it back? Maybe, but
Maybe?
FaZe was on such a tear that it didn't
今日は
really
世の
matter what
中
was
は
left in
月曜
anybody's
日なんだ
hands.
ね。
I think that this one was always going to just end up going
誰
FaZe's way.
誰ですか
Completely agree. And this is where I was talking about Optic Gaming, right? They had
月曜
just
日なん
cleaned
だ
up
な。
MLS. They were looking to kind of reset and get the res off, but unfortunately, FaZe was just too quick in their
これ
timing. They've been able to just dance around the high ground. Now you look at the push, right? And it
ア
kind
メ
of
リカ
starts
多
to
分これあれじゃない
similar to what we saw in EMEA earlier today with the
日曜日の夜
Sens,
8
right? They
時
had
と
the
か
high ground on KCP, and it
その
was
辺じゃない
what could they have potentially done? And honestly, I love that right there, but I don't think that utilizing the passive, the jetpacks there for
そう
Valve
コメン
was
ト
the
してくれる
right
のが
move.
ヌ
You
イ
can
ワ
see
ン
they
ワン
had
しか
the
いない
will
からな
come up, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. But match two
い
results.
つもあんまり
FaZe,
コメントをしない
nine
ヌイワンワンしか興味ない
eliminations
から
with 12 placement points, kind of fire there with 21 total points. Dark Zero 15 points, but it's Optic Gaming. They were very nice. I thought it was 10 eliminations.
Very
Turns out they got
nice.
12 for a total of
Wow.
19 points. So let's jump
Wow.
on over to the back half
いや、いつ
of
だ
the results. I'd be curious to see kind
今
of
日ドラッ
100
グ
thieves.
リ
Yeah,
ー
they
が
went out a little
あれ
bit
か
early,
あ
but
れ
still were able
NRG
to
も
pick
した
up 3
のか
eliminations, similar to AJC and Team Diverge as well. But NRG not able to get out of fragment kind of cost them a little bit, and you heard the comms, so we'll just have to see it. NRG, I need you to run it back for me.
今日はこの人ちょっとテンション高めだね。
Party somewhere, and she's probably rooting for you, sweet.
この間は
I'm
私
gonna
この
throw
人
it
たちが
over
メイン
to
だったか
Glitter
ら
and
な
Vicky because we got map number 3 coming your way.
今日は私が仕切らせていただきますって感じ
The final time that we will be seeing these teams on World's Edge right now, Vicky. This is going to be good. And there were actually a lot of not surprises, but
左の
I
人
think
なんか
maybe
日本にいたら
game-changing
超
moments,
美しいって感じ
specifically
の
the
顔
fact
立ちしてる
that
日本にいたとか
TSM
日本
was
人
able
だ
to
っ
take
た
out
ら
the likes of
日本
Sentinel
人に
really
いる
quickly. We
美
actually
しい
didn't
顔
get
の
a
人
chance
み
to
たいな
take a
顔
look at
して
those
る
series results either. We're going to check those out
何
before we
を
hop
言う
into
とん
this
や
match just for a quick review of where everybody stands in those overall points right now. Optic Gaming at the top with 31, followed by TSM at 27. FaZe
必要なんですかコーヒー飲んでエイペックスうわーおしゃれだなガルルもコーヒー入れてくればよかったな
Wow, that really does highlight what a performance Optic is
コ
sitting
ー
in with 12
ヒーいい
KP
ね
and
タ
that
バ
third
コ吸う
place
人だ
finish
っ
at
た
the very
ら
end. You love
コー
to
ヒ
see
ー
it
飲みながら
because
タ
even
バコ
though they
吸っ
weren't
て
in
みたい
that
な
top
うわ
three, or rather they were in that top
富
three
裕
last
層
game.
の
In that
遊びじゃん
first
そ
game,
れ
we saw what happened to them. I believe they finished with 7 KP, but still, it's that placement that they
富裕
really
層
want to
の
secure out here on World's Edge. Sitting in
遊び
number
じゃない
1
です
in
か
the
それは
overall
もうも
standings.
はや
You love to see it. TSM right behind them after taking that dub in that first game with 27
た
points,
だ
and then FaZe right behind them after taking the dub in that second game with
へ
22
ーガ
points.
ルルも
What
コ
a
ーヒー
pretty
入れて
close
きたらよ
top
か
three
っ
we already have on
た
our hands, Glitter, and we
冷たい
still
お
have
茶
this
しか持
final
ってきて
game
ね
on World's Edge.
Yeah, and we're
あ目の前に
getting a
コーラ
look
があ
at
る
the zone right
ぐらい
now. And as everybody is starting to make their decisions here,
え
you
彼も
know
一時
that
期カフェイン
NRG
中毒すぎ
might
てエグかっ
be
たんだよ
very
な
happy about this one. The next zone should be coming in just a moment. And yeah, NRG feels really good about this.
Oh, they're loving this. After what we heard in the comms over in Fragment East, I don't blame Sweet for saying that too, especially with Glitch and 100 Thieves that could have sent it on each other. You look at the Watson team and they want to try to send it in and get involved in that fight instead. They saw NRG as that threat. And now here
TSM
with this next
早い
circle,
動き
NRG is going to have a field day, leaving with the ring console being right there.
なん
They
か
can
別
try
に
to
も
get on top of the
始
high
まってちょっと
ground,
経ってんのか
contest this team that's going to be leaving Mirage à Trois. But you can expect a lot of these other teams to get quick on it when it comes to these rotations
ど
in
こだろう
this
ね
next circle,
アン
because that
チ
choke point by Thermal Station is going to get contested.
Oh yeah, I mean you can already see Sentinels making a very fast rotation over.
なんか左の通路あたりな気がするな
Make sure that they get in there now because this is the zone they should be familiar with. But Lanimals down in thermal as they're making their rotation, finding themselves running into people now. Who are they against CLG?
一旦この間取っといたら強いよな
Oh no. Not with the caustic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you could break down the doors, I guess, if you're looking at Albert lately. What? I feel like this is just payback on me, I guess, at some point. But it's the Rampart versus the caustic. You can see Lou already behind one of those amp walls on the other side. But
こ
it's
の家って
interesting
普通
looking
の
at
家なんかな
these
なん
squads
で
hold it down in
まあ
these buildings as quickly
APEX
as
の
they
世
can
界の
because
中
we
で
have seen the circle pull
普通の
actually
家な
on
のかな
top of where CLG is right now as well as Lanimals. That's why I was talking about the choke point that could be leaving out of Mirage Etoile because usually with that choke point you can
Wow.
take a 50-50 approach in terms of your rotation. Talking about quick rotations at least is
わ
TSM taking some shots
め
with
っちゃ
that
できる
G7. They were quick with leaving Lava Siphon, but they
逃げ
got some
ろ
good loot while they were at it.
一
They
旦
have
ね一旦
LTC
そこ
in
で
their
温まろう
sights right now, right on the edge of
ほ
Harvester.
ん
You
だ
see CCE going for that skyward dive, trying to get away from that right now and get themselves a little bit closer to where they want to be as far as holding down some space, at least in on the edge.
Oh,
Taking
no.
a lot of damage though, and one does go down.
ダウン
That is not what you want to see in the middle of their skyward dive. At least they split up from the Valkyrie. But man,
あ
you
そもそも人が住む環境じゃない
That was crazy out here. They wanted to dip
マ
out of
ジ
this confrontation with TSM.
あこの
TSM also
星
getting
が
pinged by a charge rifle in
こ
the
れ何
distance,
なの
and
こ
then
こ
you
え
can
ワ
hear
ー
the
ルジあで
skyward
も
dive right above
トーナメント
TSM
はあれ家だ
flying
よね
by
多分
somewhere here. But LTC also playing off the low ground. TSM's not going to be moving from this spot anytime soon, but this is a good spot at least for them to contest the squads that are in the middle of this rotation,
あ
so
ダー
that
クゼ
way
ロが
they
来
can
たよ
secure some KP for themselves.
Now
Why
they've
is
got
it
DZ
it's-
across
they
the way as
don't-
well. DZ checking out
あ
the
ワー
team
ルジエッ
that's
ジが
right
そ
in
うか
that
そもそ
harvester
もがもう
building. So now they know that potentially they have
人
to
が
worry
住む
about
とこじゃないの
LTC.
か
TSM right in front of them as you see TSM starting to make their own move away as well.
研究してるってこと
Hopefully this doesn't
あ
cause
静
too
か
many
に
problems, but you can
静かに
got a bow check in the hands of Jen and
Bow
they decide that
check.
this is not what they want to be doing.
マジ誰も住んでないの
I
か
like the idea to disengage of that approach when they
あ
were
気になるよな
originally
こ
on
の
the
人
high ground. They have the circle
住んでる
information.
とか住ん
We're
で
gonna
ない
get
と
that
か
from the circle console. And Jen's got the bow check in his hand and the gold extended light mag.
ボチェックっていう
Really
のが
nice to see here in the hands of Jen, especially with the way that Dark Zero played that last game, getting second with 6 KP. They want to continuously try to stay as consistent as possible, being in the top 5 as they are right now after those 2 games. But wrapping around Landslide means that they're going to be approaching this next circle through the staging side. Maybe try to get through the choke point from Mirage Etoile. Try to get involved if there's going to be a circle beacon by staging. A lot of fighting happening already here by Harvester. Whoever's involved. There's a portal right in front of them.
Ah,
And unfortunately,
一人だけ
getting
前
taken
に出てたん
down
か
from the flank side. It's going to be
いや
another
めっちゃい
team
い
getting
よそれ
involved.
Okay, so it looks like Meat Lovers moved in towards where LTC was, and LTC are the ones that are doing some damage to them, but that's going to
研
leave
究
their
所と
backs
研
wide
究者が
open.
一致
LTC
結する
not getting
あーなんかね
anything
うんそんな感じは
lying in
わか
wait
る
for
わ
something like this to happen so they
確
can
かに
get some free KP, and now LTC find themselves pinched between these two squads. TSM making a big push in on this,
なん
but
か
they
鉄
did
骨
lose
の家
Bell.
とかもなん
Are they
か
going to be able to continue making this push?
真ん中が割れちゃったり
They
し
gotta
て
get the shield swap.
真ん中
Rex
と
is
いうか
already on top of it. He gets the blue Evo.
最初
Yes,
鉄
they
骨
lose
2つあ
out
ったもん
on
ね
Burrows, but they're moving over to the side.
う
Slip
ま
and
救
slide as
急
he goes to swap up with the charge rifle. He doesn't get the hipfire shots.
TSM か今の
Sentinels with the timing on this fourth party. Everybody's invited. Everybody's here. And
めちゃ
now
めちゃ
Sentinels
敵が
are feeling the burn from the other side.
Oh my, where did Sentinels come from? And they also lost 2 for deciding to get in on this, thinking it was probably going to be a little bit easier cleanup than it was.
逃げれないん
There's
じゃない
clearly more
か
teams outside of Harvester. Now Keon's forced to disengage and leave both RKN and Rambo knocked and inside, not able to do a whole lot about that. Somehow LTC still up, and it's
バチバチだね
MLS who's now moved in to try to join this party.
Hello, where was your invite, MLS? I guess they invited themselves out here with the Seer ult helping them out to know where
I'm
these
a
other
madness da.
stragglers are. They're getting the information that they need to prevent
これ
anybody from
MLS で
running
ミ
away,
ートラバーズ
getting
っ
away
て
and
人た
getting
ちか
into some
な
cover. Look at this. Now Madness is going to be able to
お肉
profit.
大好きってこ
Everybody
と
here from LS is going to be able to get all the loot that they need from these boxes.
なこの世界行ってみたいのガル
There
ル
was a brief moment where I thought maybe Rambo was going to be able to crawl away to safety.
なんかさユニバとかとコラボせんか
Until
な
they opened up that door. Honestly,
ユニバとかと
and
コラボ
that
せ
is
んかな
why Some of these zones are so dangerous because we saw that TSM was in the vicinity for quite some time. We knew that LTC was hiding in that harvester building for a while, but as soon as one team came in, so many others was brilliant, but now they find themselves in a totally different engagement, already having lost 0. Now 2 on DZ, trying to hold off. They will be able to stick this res and get a little bit of a recovery here, but had DZ decided to try and push any of those fights, they could have found themselves in the same situation as one of those 4 teams that just went down.
Oh my gosh, spikes everywhere. The grenade getting a knock. Jen doing his best to reinforce the door. Huge need from Chase here, but they gotta get through the reinforced door. They do just that, but they don't want to try to approach. It's the wall that goes up, and you talk about the third parties, and they are not stopping Glitter from Harvester all the way over to this no-name side north of Thermal Station. Glitch Energy.
Glitch Energy trying to see if they can capitalize on all of the chaos that went down inside that building. You know Dark Zero's mad about that window, providing an opportunity for Glitch to get even a little bit of damage in on them. The Dark Veil inside providing a little bit of cover. Glitch Energy's gonna keep peeking that door in, just wait until they can finish cleaning up DZ. Right now you see the frag come through the feed. Zero not in a great position, and Glitch is not backing up. They want to continue forcing DZ's hand if they can. Oh, they got out.
What?
Oh, 逃げた. Oh.
Oh, they got away. They could see another day. They also have Zero's banner here too. This is actually huge, but the rest just happened overhead, it sounded like right here. So another team trying to get their third involved in the Mirage Etoile area.
Nice.
This is actually crazy. Glitch also being able to walk away from that previous fight, exiting out of that door. With so many teams congested up by staging, Energy obviously still in this. 18 squads left for the second ring to close.
The amount of chaos that just happened. We're looking on that top down. You see Complexity here on these tracks, trying to give themselves a little bit of cover with that Dark Veil. Back checking in with Dark Zero now. You see that DZ took out Chase in the kill feed, so they've been able to at least keep themselves healed up and defend whatever minimal positioning they have here. You noted that they do have the banner at least, so if there is an opportunity they can try to go for that res, but right now they realize that there are so many people above them in the surrounding area that they need to really pick their moment to move and where to move perfectly if they want to somehow make it out of there as a duo.
That's going to be so hard to do, to get that third back up too, especially since the mobile respawn was already used up by Mirage Etoile. They don't have a Moby in their pocket either. That's now on the ground since it went off from the rotating replicator for the weekly rotation.
Energy
though, sweet with a nice nade inside, taking it off angle with a nemesis, getting out of the line of sight of the squad that can hold the choke point right to his north. Love the positioning and the split positioning from the rest of NRG.
This is a similar area to where we watched NRG take a fight yesterday as well, and this time it is going significantly better for them. You can see that not only are those throwables working in their favor, but they're able to force people out of position and really get lots of damage down. Sweet barely making it out with that sliver of health there. A successful fight for Energy onto Complexity, clearing out this space and getting the KP.
Sweet looking like a problem out here. Also saw Capra with the nemesis as well in the feed, knocking another player. And it's insane to see where this next circle is going to be pulling. Up on the high ground, close to staging, exactly where NRG is positioned. They're not the only Joe left in this lobby. Well, we had seen what go down. Dark Zero playing up that low ground originally, and the rest of the squad rotating in. It's so difficult to find this opportunity as a duo.
おーっていう感じの構成だよね。よう考えたら。
Specifically with our top two from last time, you got FaZe and DZ, or they were. DZ was the duo. I don't know if they still are a duo at this point. And both of these teams trying to just do the best with the situation that they have been dealt. FaZe, though, has a solid spot right now. They have some vision on at least one enemy down below. Gathering that information for themselves right now. I was waiting for somebody to look at the bridge, though, and see if FaZe was down there. And now that they've been noticed, it could become a problem.
Man, that G7, it's ringing in their ears. Also
Oh.
want to note that I believe it's just a rat left for Dark Zero. I think it's only Jen that's alive. 100 Thieves just hiding in that corner right now. See the spikes at their feet currently with the squad playing right above them. If 100 Thieves is the squad that tries to take some shots at face to their left, though, they could open themselves up to the squads that are across from them and staging.
隠れてる3
This
人で
next circle is going to be crazy. 10 seconds left for this
バレ
circle
た
to
くない
close
バレ
up.
たくない押さないで押さないでっつって言ってるわ
You see the 100 Thieves.
押すな押すな
Can see the people across from them. You see those tracers coming in. Someone trying to do damage while they all just cuddle up as far against that rock as they can possibly fit. Sentinels going for the skyward dive now.
They're alive. How
I
are
know.
they alive?
I was just gonna say, were they the ones that actually got that res then that you had heard?
Yes,
No.
I think so. They just the fact
おる
that
お
they
る
were
お
able
る
to
お
get
る
Rambo back up and he is
あ
flying
そ
with
れ
a
は
dream
下は
and
ま
a
ずいよ
havoc right in front of 100 Thieves. Run away, Rambo! Run! You with you
あ
and
怖
your
っ
20 energy ammo on the havoc.
あでもランボやられちゃった
Okay,
もう
Rambo
無
does
理
go down to native, but Sentinels still have 2 up, trying to see if they can just hide here for now. They've at least gotten themselves to a better spot in the zone, and while that's all happened, Lanimals
ランペっ
eliminated,
て競技でも今
CCE eliminated.
どうなんだろうね
People starting to pop off here, but still
ねたまに使ってる人いるよ
15
ね
squads left alive, and they do not have Rambo's banner.
でも
Is it
さ
even
扉壊
worth
せ
trying to
る
get
っ
right
ていう
now
機
here
能
too,
がさ
especially in the
No.
position that you're stuck in at this
どうなん
point?
カタリストのあれで
He's got 20 energy ammo. I
カタリストで
guess.
補
If
強
you're
されたやつ壊せないよ
scrambling for
ね多分
crumbs, but what a tough situation for Sentinels to be in on this last
どうなん
game
だろ
of
う
World's Edge. They drop down. Looks like they could scoop it up real quick. We know what's extra
でもラン
tempting
パ
here,
ートの補
Glitter.
強ドア
That
を壊
lovely
せないんだ
care
ったらま
package
あ
in their
強
line
み
of
ないよ
sight,
ね
especially if they're struggling. But you're gonna put
Do it.
yourself in line of sight
って
of
思いま
Optic
す
Gaming.
Do
Oh,
it.
he drops the Evo real quick. Okay, okay. RKN, he picks it up. I love this overhead right now because you can also see what's going on in the high ground here between NRG on the left side, FaZe on the right. What was in that care package? I'm out on the skirmisher road right now, so I can't scan that for you.
That could have been huge for them if it's going to give them a little bit additional loot that they need. You see NRG focusing
え壊せるのじ
across
ゃ
the
あ
way,
強いじゃん
watching a wraith come across those tracks right
じゃあ
now. They
強
are
いじゃん
trying to monitor a lot going on around them, but they have
へえ
a
補強された壁
great
壊せる
spot
の
to be doing that right now. They
え
have
じゃあ
lots of
全然
information on
強
the
いじゃん
teams surrounding them, and they have been able to set up a nice amount of
で
fences.
も
And we
もう
talked
使
about
っ
how
てる人
useful Watson
あ
has
ん
been
まり
so
見ない
far.
ねたま
Now
に
being
見るぐらい
brought- You're used more in this
ってこと
current
は弱いんかな
That's what we're talking
でも
about.
補
at the
強
very
壁
beginning
一
of the
発
pre-show
一
tiff
発と
about
か
these
すぐ
legend
壊
comps
せる
that
んだ
have
っ
been
た
changing
ら
up. I like the adjustments. That's kind of what week 1
なん
for
か良さそうな気するけ
ALGS
どね
usually set up for. So
詰
we're
める
seeing a
時とかに
change up from TSM2, seeing how on the
補強してる
catalyst.
から大丈夫
Sweet
と思っ
also
ただろう
out
お前
here
たちみたいな
on the
感じ
Wraith
で
has the portal ready, but they're not going to move from this spot at all. He does get pinged from afar, but this is a
わあ
really
レイズ
good
のくない
spot
欲
for
し
energy
い
to
ガ
be
ルル
holding. As long as they don't get landed on. Looks at the overhead real quick, but they're not going to land on them right now. They just said landing on top of the team that has a high ground over that bridge.
そうねキルボも拾わそうだよなのに使ってないってことはやっぱ弱い認定されてるってことはうわここはかつて 100T がキャッスル城を食べたところじゃないですかいやきついね
Madness and Shubi both going down is going to be forced to go as low ground
痛い
as
やめて
possible. But people are still looking his way, and this is just going to be a desperate rat play for MLS. Didn't work.
It scraped his hair. You saw it right there. Right passing, whizzing past his ear. Taking him out. MLS out of this lobby. Look at Sentinel still alive underneath the bridge. They're getting pinged over in the distance. The squad that's been holding the inside of staging, by the way, it's nice to know, is Optic Gaming. There's 3 squads all around the train bridge area between CLG, Sentinels, FaZe. This is actually crazy to see how this next circle is going to be moving for a lot of our teams. So FaZe is still right there. They're going to be able to try to scoop up some extra loot if they can, but Sentinels is not giving up that low ground here. Obviously, they have nowhere else to go. 100 Thieves right there, right beside CLG.
難しいね
CGE on the other side,
ランパートの
taking
チ
a
ー
nice
ム
split
ランパート
push,
じゃないや
sharing that high ground
カ
with
タリストの
NRG
パー
on
テ
the
ィ
other
ーを
side.
油断させれそうだったね
Vicky, right now, Optic's going to be forced to come out of their
キル
position.
ボも拾いやすい
Energy
し
has got spot. Everyone's going to have to come up to them, and they've got that
どうなんだろうね、そのテレミットとか
over
を
everyone who will be coming towards them. There's a couple teams on the track
突然
that
勝手
might
にさんちが
be
ヒューズだと思うけど多分
okay,
分か
but
ん
for
ない
now, it's going to be
そうだね
to
そう
try
だ
to
ね
beat out NRG. But like you said, Glitch Energy is one of the
確
teams
か
that
に
at least
確か
was
に
in that position. So let's jump on in to listen and see what they have to say.
おもろいな。そうかヒューズかそうかそうか。あーヒューズを入れるあれがないよな。
I don't know. There was someone like on the mountain behind them, which is just really weird. I
そう
don't
か
know.
ヒューズのパチパチで
You're alone.
扉壊してカーテン出されてもマゾロードで分かっちゃうよーんってこと。すごくない？
Super careful.
賢くない？ヒューズ使おうかな今日から。
Climbed up, left side. Jump back down.
なんかヒューズ使おうかな。いやいいな。そうかそうか。
Yeah, we kind of give up this
I'm watching it, I'm
tunnel.
watching it. Yeah, because they can just beam us. Like, you gotta play back, man.
You think we just try to kill this team with nades?
まあ
How many
カ
nades
タ
do we
リス
have?
ト
So
You want me to
fucking
come over?
ヒューの
Just
説
try
明
to kill this team with nades.
Am I coming? I'm coming.
あそうかへえ
I have no nades.
Careful, careful, we can't do this.
確かに確かにそうだね
Push us, it might push us.
ヘルメットとかもさ
Took space.
燃え尽きるまで補強できないのね
I'm popping us off, popping us off. You gotta watch the climb up.
確かに
too.
パチパチ長いもんな
I got wall so we could push
い
them
や
off.
賢いねぬいわんこちゃん
Truck. We need
や
to
る
fire
ね
truck. Using my last bat, I only have one cell.
やるわんこちゃんだねそれは
Watch above, watch above.
う
Do you
ー
have
ん
wall? Do you have wall?
Yeah.
Wall
ほん
straight
と
south.
だ
Wall
パ
straight
チパ
south
チ
of the
長く
line.
て
Play
無理
one
だ
side of
ね
this. Good.
賢いな
Nicely so. Pop your
I'm
cell.
watching,
Over here.
I'm watching your back, I'm watching your back.
No, no, no.
60,
You need to cover the
60.
streets. We
Okay,
might
okay, I'm
get
coming, I'm
confused.
coming.
あでもヒューズ使うかって言ってもまあまあまあでも日本サーバーは別にそこまでカタリスト多くないからな
Yeah, I'm walking up on
I'm
the
sliding up on it.
NA を見たであろう競技好きの人たちはたまに使ってるぐらい
Big nade, big nade.
そうじゃないです
No, I died to an arc. Hold my. It might be just one.
クソうざいですもんおもろいな
Win that shit, baby.
Find you.
うまい
Don't res.
ダイよやめてよただでさえうざいねおね
Okay, Vicky, we need to talk about that because not only was that a phenomenal push, they made the best of a bad situation, but that was
いい
the
な
chillest comms I think we've ever heard, and they were like that
なるほど
yesterday
ね
too. It's just their style.
I feel like I just gotta listen into what
Yeah,
ASMR
NRG
Apex
す
Legends
ごい
Pro
な
League would sound like in a segment out here. Meanwhile, they also clutched out getting forth with a lot of KP.
いやーネーフェンのカバーが
in that
良
listening.
い
NRG Sweet now moving on over to the side. They have the high ground over CLG, looking for an opportunity out here. It's CLG, NRG, and FaZe still
で
alive
も
with
もう
just
パ
Sprites
チど
being
こだ
wrapped.
下になんか
Listen, I said it
Staka.
earlier, Energy had that God spot with the way that everything was playing out. Nobody could really push up safely to kind of
Stop.
kick them off of it either, and now they're able to play this high ground and just continue to
ねえごめんなぬいわんこ教えてキモいですごめん多分普段コメント打ってくれるリスナーさんいないよ今日誰も誰もいないですね
CLG backing off for a second here. Nano getting a bit of a bat off. Directly below Sweet. Shiny also still alive for CLG, and Sweet is on the rock and cannot hold them off. NRG go down. CLG will be closing this one out.
Are you kidding me? Oh, and they're looking for him. There's okay, he's gone. CLG are the winners of our final game on World's Edge. What a fight for
ちょ
CLG.
っと待ってNRG 負けたの今
High ground over them. That was huge. Let's not forget, this is still the same
うわ
team.
全然見てなかった
The
今
only team
コメン
that
ト欄
is using the
コメント欄
caustic
ぬい
in
わ
this
んこ
team
の件で
composition.
Listen, that big boy
全
got
然 NRG は頭に入ってなかったマジで負けたんだ今の
today.
So,
Vicky, I know
確かにガス
you are not a
悪いもんな
but that was a massive play on behalf of CLG, on behalf of Mamba, Tiff. They clutched that.
Look, I was waiting for Sweet to start the rumbling from the top. I was just like, bro is about to cue the like anime intro music and it was gonna be really aggressive. And unfortunately, as soon as I saw Nathan drop, and I was like, it's not gonna happen. Congrats to CLG. But more importantly, during that listen-in, GE electing to take that fight on the trailer yes, you're kind of throwing your placement, right? And I think they understood that because they knew that no matter if they stayed where they were, once the Dark Veil dropped, they were going to essentially kind of go out there. So they were like, let's take this fight, maybe see if we can go out and get some KP in the distance. And I think that fight was well executed and they did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about them, you know, we were saying that they made the best of a bad situation because they did exactly what you're talking about. They had to go for points at that point. The most likely guaranteed points was a fight that they could take to the squad that was inside of that train car. I mean, it was interesting to see, though, because we mentioned it, Tiff. They were just so calm, cool, and collected about the entire thing, even when everything started to kick off.
Am I coming? Okay, I'm coming. I'm gonna make my way over there. Then it's like, wait, where are they?
笑っとるけど、わからん、わからん。
And I was like, look, that's totally fine. You just gotta get in there, make sure that you can get to where the fight's gonna be. But I will say, dropping around and going into the zone for the back end of the train cart, it looked like it was going to be the right move until homie stepped on like 5 different death boxes and didn't necessarily clear it as smoothly as I thought it was gonna be. And then it was really interesting because the team decided to wrap around on him as well, but I mean, they were able to pull it out. And Vicky, like, we start off at the very beginning and we think of, you know, how are these contests gonna look? At that point, I'm thinking that CCE is like, we're no longer contesting. As we actually get to pull up the match highlights, kind of start off strong. MLS on your screen, I mean, a lot of G7 Scout and charge rifles here.
I'm a big G7 enjoyer. Charge rifles, we already know our thoughts on the charge rifle out here, but it is the Evil Shield Charger.
平時に見直すると
CSM, they got
人
involved
が
in this
少ない
fight, but
ね。
they felt
まあみんな
early
仕事だもん
because
な。
we didn't see the third party going. We didn't see the fourth party. We saw the fifth party roll in for this fight. It was super chaotic at the very end. We even saw some unfinished duels walk away, get the res. Sentinels was in trouble from the very beginning because of that fight there too. Dark Zero, another team that actually ended up on losing one of their players. But it was a lot of unfinished squads that were making their way into this very chaotic final circle where Energy, they land here. This is their home. So they were able to get on top of the high ground relatively early after looting the rest of staging.
Bro, that clip right there, just kind of doubling down and just finishing him off with the Prowler. It's like, it seems as if the Prowler is a staple for everyone's lore. If you're not running the Prowler, typically it's that R9 and maybe dabbling with the car SMG. I'm gonna have to look at the stats after today's broadcast to see just how many people have been utilizing which weapons and which are kind of making that staple. But Glitch Energy, it seems when they kind of set up shop here, they were working their way towards the teams that were in these parts from the get-go. And 100 It's a shame that they weren't able to hold on to this glitter.
I mean, we saw them try to come up for a little bit, see if they could go unnoticed, but it went on for so long. It had to pop out. It was just a little bit bad timing. And this is the moment you were talking about here, Tiff. The wraparound on the back end of the train car. It got a little bit messy there at the end. There was just too many.
いやーこれなるほどな。ガスだね。
For the Dark Veil to drop, waiting for the opportunity to do that damage. Obviously, NRG being
上上がれないもんな、ガス
final
臭い
moment
し。
where CLG was able to take down NRG. I'm not gonna lie, I did not anticipate.
なるほど。
Congratulations to
謎が解けまし
CLG
た。
for walking away with a map 3 victory and in style, by the way. 12 placement points coupled with 12 eliminations equals 24 points. Not bad at all.
眠たくなってきたから。
And I feel like CLG has kind of always been right there, waiting to break through. And now that they're not necessarily getting contested by Native and Harvester, I feel like they're able to actually play their game because their rotations aren't necessarily getting held up. And it's proving to show out really nicely here now that Aver's
勝利を捧げなさいっつってめっちゃ強い
Glitch Energy,
強い選手かき集める
Let's jump on over to page 2 and see kind of who necessarily didn't get their Dark Zero 4 eliminations for 5 total points, but not necessarily coupling it with placement points, Lanimals, complexity, LTC
Sorry.
my man,
だから翻訳はできません。
LTC Esports
あ、翻訳通訳はできません。
series results though, Vicky, and see kind of what this had in effect.
Look, despite TSM dropping early in that game 3, they still took that game number 1 with a good amount of KP to their name, and they are still sitting in 4th overall. Looking at this overall leaderboard, though, we can't ignore Optic Gaming that did go down before that final fight, but they were poking and being a thorn to everybody across staging from them. It was just a really difficult rotation for them once they had to exit out of the buildings and staging, and then highlighting CLG, that notch grenade at the very end. It brings up the difference between late game Caustic and late game Catalyst for our controller legends that are opted to be used by the teams and what they feel comfortable with. In this case, CLG with Mamba being on the Caustic.
I feel like that's a really good discussion that I need to have at some point in my life because everyone has their complete own opinion on the controller legend class and technically what's going to work best for their own legend compositions per team, whether it's Caustic, whether it's Rampart. Lanimals, Lily on Rampart. We saw Alliance and Amiya. Some other teams were looking to pick up Rampart as well. But Watson, all the rise. And it's been, fun to see who is kind of going with it. Because you guys know, controller legends, they can scan those ring consoles, get you that information to help you with your rotation. So very important part, and I feel like we really need a good deep dive on it. But speaking of a deep dive, there is a team that I want to focus on, Glitter and Vicky. I feel like we need to kind of have this central moment where we get to look at one team in particular now that we've seen the first 3 games. And look, I'm not biased, I swear, it's NA. It has to be TSM, okay? We gotta dive into this discussion because it looks like they may have came out swinging and overcome their demons, Vicky.
Yeah, when it comes to what they performed in week 1, we were expecting this team to come out swinging. We said that they were in the hyperbolic training chamber with Raven. Well, they came out with a different look. The Catalyst helping out TSM already off the rip that game 1 with 9 KP. But my question here is to both you and Glitter, can they keep this up going into Stormpoint? Can they replicate the same type of success that we saw on World's Edge despite going on early in game number 3? Can we see that happen again going on to Stormpoint?
I'm gonna go to you, Glitter, because I know we were talking about this like post-broadcast or pre-broadcast. I asked you, I was like, will TSM find success today? And I want you to be honest.
I have some concerns. Okay, that's the way I'm going to phrase it because historically TSM who is a team where if they do poorly, then the next time we see them, they're coming back and they're absolutely smashing it. And that was the vibe we got in game number 1. But then post game number 1, their results have only declined. Okay, went from 1st to 9th to 20th. That is less than ideal for TSM. Maybe Stormpoint will be the switch up that they need, and that would be huge because they're at a really rough spot in the overall when we're talking about those points.
Yeah, it's tough. You think about kind of split 2 playoffs, Vicky, and I know we were chatting about this, and TSM found themselves very low on that overall series standing coming into today and needed a standout performance. And you think of some other teams, and TSM's one of those that really needed a top 5 finish today overall to kind of solidify that split 2 playoffs chance. Could you imagine a playoffs without TSM, Vicky?
No, I can't. I feel like they basically are already there after their first performance on playoffs because where TSM? Why aren't they here? They have to be here at this point. Even with the change-up, I'm still expecting TSM to turn things around because, I mean, this is a team that is very focus-heavy on what they got to do differently. I got to take a look at the documentary highlighting Hal's journey as a pro player in IGL earlier today, actually, before we got started with day 4 of the ALGS. I totally recommend everybody to check it out because it provided a lot of insight to what goes on in the mental process of this team and how they work together. So look, they looked great in the first game. Map 2, they got wiped out for 9th by FaZe. We talked about low ground in that circle. I didn't like being there super early, but it was a good call out because we've seen the circle pull specifically on top of that train cart. But then map 3, they got involved in a fight where they weren't expecting half the map to rotate towards Harvester, and they ended up in dead last. So how are they going to play Stormpoint? I think we're going to see things slow down a little bit, play more for final circle positioning.
Ooh, I really like that, and I love that. Shout out to the documentary because I saw you tweet it out, and I immediately like flagged it for me to go watch after this. And I know that Verhulst has been really open, in particular, about things that you can do outside of just playing Apex in general to really boost your competitive nature. I think at one point it was eat healthy, work out, take cold showers. Did Big E take a cold shower today? Is that what happened for game number 1? Like, we all have questions that we need answers to, so please update us on your health journey, you guys, because because it's really important for our players not only to stay healthy inside and outside the game. Take care of yourself, okay? But hey, maybe you've gotten inspired by the kind of resurgence that TSM has had and today, and you want to test your hands at competitive Apex Legends. Well, look no further. Start in the Challenger circuit. Registration ends on March 22nd. The tournament is going to start on March 25th. Huge shout out to some of my friends that have been really interested in Apex Legends completely, and I'm gonna say it, Jen Liu, I'm looking for you. I know your registration is going through, and we need more ladies in the Challenger circuit. Sabs was popping off for Phoenix Legacy earlier on today in the EMEA region, but you know, we'll see. But we're gonna cut to a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be hopping on over Storm Point. Can TSM keep up the momentum? I guess we'll wait to see.
でもね、確かね、ネメシス嫌いみたいな話してたらしいんで、やってるんじゃないかな。ネメシスをめちゃめちゃ、ネメシスアンチらしい。で、うちのリスナーが言ってましたね。英語がわかるリスナーさん、今いないんですけど、ネメシス嫌いっぽいみたいな。鬼屋的なね、鬼屋さん。鬼屋さんとはまたちょっと違うから、こっちの方がプロフェッショナルな。チェイサーさんいるわ。チェイサーさん今なんて話したでも TSM 調子いいんじゃないみたいな話してたんじゃない？わかんねえ。いや、どうなるかなって話かな。わかんない。これ、キャスター陣が何言ってるかわからねえ。騎士さんって言ってあげて。騎士さん誰？チェイサーさんずっと見てくれとったか。このね、実況の人たちが何言ってるか分かるようになったらおもろいなって思います。感想文。
Welcome back, everyone. It is match day number 4 for ALGS. Right now, we're talking about North America, though. I'm SpiderTip, that's Glitter Explosion, and we have sent Mickey Kitty to the Shadow Realm just for map number 4. And I'm going to be taking over the action here with Glitter, and I couldn't be more excited. You were kind of talking about some of the things, right? Going on over to Storm Point for the latter half of the day. Let's go ahead and pull up kind of the history of where we've been. Match 1, taking that victory with TSM. Match number 2, that epic finale from FaZe, and then CLG taking map number 3. And it begs to differ. Can some of these teams find success on Storm Point, or will we see some other teams shine, Glitter?
You know, I'm hoping that we get a little bit of both. I want to see some, I mean, to be fair, CLG is kind of a surprise too. They handled that final fight incredibly, and they really good right now, but moving on to Storm Point, it's always a little bit more chaotic. It opens up the opportunity for some teams that are also struggling a little bit to maybe get some points on the board, and we will continue talking about how important that is going to be. But it's also
朝早いですね。おはよう、りんごさん。今日も見ております。うわ、今の間に飲み物入れてきたらよかったな。高いの。
Ooh, and you know, some of the teams that had a lot of success last time these two groups met up against each other back on match day number 1, Dark Zero. They were the ones that maybe had a very lackluster World's Edge, and it seems as if they were able to pick up a little bit of momentum earlier today, and then really carry it forward. They had 2 wins on match day number 1 on Storm Point, and one of them most notably being map number 6, and we actually got to listen in on the broadcast to their comms.
みんな見てて。行ってきます。ありがとう。行ってくるね。入れてください。行ってきます。
To perfection. Glitter, I'm sure you got to see it. It was disgusting the way they were interacting with each other in a good way. Like when I say disgusting, I think of like, oh, that was so sick. I would love that. Like it was intense.
It was the scream, you know, that did it for me. The passion. Okay, I'm on board with that. I want to see that. Like every time. That's why we love the comms so much.
It is. It's probably one of my favorite parts. So anytime we can get something super exciting, I literally remember my eardrums being blown out, and I think it took solid 4 days for them to recover. No, I'm just kidding. Please send it back. I think I rewatched that clip on Reddit like 15 times, but the time is now, Glitter. It is match number 4. We have to look to kind of what we're potentially going to be seeing for the contest, because that's where I start getting really excited. It's like, will we have any? I'm looking at the map right now, and I think we've got a drug-free versus AJC contest, because AJC is contesting both on World's Edge and Stormpoint, and that was over at Mirage à Trois. If you think back to match day number 1, drug-free started off so incredibly strong over on World's Edge and just could not get things together on Stormpoint. And a lot of that started with that 50-50 contest, and they both landed on Mirage à Trois. They duked it out in true 3v3 fashion.
And if we're talking about that 50-50 that could potentially happen, I mean, AJC has been doing well with those so far today, so they might be feeling extra confident because of that.
Ooh, I do like it. Be curious to see if they run it back. And honestly, I don't think they are. Look at FaZe taking Launchpad though. Phony landing so much further south away from the team. And I was curious, yeah, he's gonna hop in the whip. He wanted the Trident. I don't blame you. Look, sometimes those things are very critical to rotations here on Stormpoint. And Glitter, we're not gonna talk about yesterday's rotations of Trident.
No, I still can't get over yesterday, so we're just gonna pretend like it never happened. Every time I see somebody getting a Trident, I get a little bit nervous, but we've been good. Okay, so far today, at least in EMEA. Now we'll have to see what NA can bring to the table. Hopefully it is as flawless as EMEA was when it comes to at least their driving ability here. As we can see also where the zone is on the map, pretty central, which will be a strong potential zone for FaZe. And with how they've been playing, this could give them a slight advantage that they didn't even need.
Look, all I know is I just hear charge rifle here. They're already pinging it. CLG's already pinging it over here in Stormcatcher. And I'm just like, stop it right now. No, I get it. It's nice, right? It's good for leveling up those Evo shields. You can utilize it for some information. You can just be a really big nuisance and kind of just get that opening damage. We see a lot of the teams that typically are the anchor position for their team, and they will run the charge rifle to grab some opening damage. And it's still, you know, I'm still working on it, but let's look at the kind of where we saw those ring consoles at. The wall, they had crafting and a ring console, so you think about that immediately. TSM is going to grab that information of where they need to get onto. They're going to start their rotation. The question is, where are they going? And will they choose a pattern that kind of has a survey beacon in the midst, so they can also double down and get that? It looks like Thunderwatch also had crafting and a survey beacon. Lightning Rod had survey beacon and ring console information. And check that out. I mean, FaZe couldn't ask for more, Glitter.
That's what I was saying. I said it's a zone that could really favor FaZe right now, and that's exactly where it pulls. They are going to be quite comfortable in Launchpad right now. I mean, there's... Why?
よいしょ。あと3マッチか。早いね。時間が過ぎるのは。
towards the center of it and instantly realize where it's shifting. We see them moving. TSM already going for the Valk rotate, not wanting to risk anything. A lot of these teams are going to get in there early, especially knowing that on that side of the map, FaZe will be there. I think we can also see 100 Thieves making the rotation in the sky as well, and people are going to be battling it out for space.
Right? They like to land command center. If they're going to Valk ult from command center,
wow.
But Meat Lover's already into a little bit of an engagement between Diverge. They're grabbing the opening knock on to GS Verge. Now, a 3v2 situation. No need to necessarily push item too far. You can focus on healing to the full ability. Tech only one with the white shield, or napkin, as Wig would say. Probably on a watch party nearby going blue, blue, blue.
Honestly, I'm here for it. It's truth, because that's about how much protection you're gonna have in any sort of a serious engagement if you're stuck on a white armor right now. You can see Team Diverge still kind of hanging out in the wings, see if they can at least get the recovery here on that banner. A little bit of a perspective arc star there. They are able to get the scoop and back off without any
滞
sort
空
of
時間長くなっ
punishment.
た
So
な
this
ん
could
か
mean
今
that
あ
they'll
の
be
競
able
技
to
に
get
し
a
ては
reset and continue to at least play out this game.
I mean, I like that, right? If you're gonna have a Wraith Legend, someone playing that, you have the tactical to fall back on. Of course, you're gonna send your little squirrely Wraith up to rescue the banner, and if push comes to shove, you've got
下
AJ
に
kind
ト
of
ラ
on
ッ
the
クリー
bangle
がい
and
るん
could
だね
smoke it out if you need to, and you could just
な
like
んかめっちゃ遅かった
dodge
ね
around
ふわ
while you've got
ー
that
って
slight delay in
なんか
her Q
おかし
until
かったよ
it
な
kicks in, and then you can just run away. It's my favorite thing to do. I'd be dancing around ranked lobbies all day, but FaZe, I mean, look, the zone's coming to them. They don't have to do anything crazy. The only issue here with the zone pulling directly to you right off the rip is, yeah, Launchpad's got really great loot, but you're not going anywhere, so you don't necessarily get to fight to level up your shields or pick up attachments or maybe focus on, yeah, Launchpad's got crafting, but did you have enough time to go down there, get the materials, grab your mags, craft helmets?
6倍スコープの力はマ
Everyone's
ジ
moving
で
so
や
fast
ば
on
い
Storm Point to make sure they can get set up for that end game.
Yeah, resource management will definitely be a little bit rough. They're probably going to try and see if they can get an early pick that they can just use as a little bit of a loot farm, but unfortunately there's so many strong teams around them that'll be difficult for them to do. Glitch Energy, though, a team that we got to see some really, really solid pushes out of making the best of a bad situation in the last match, and they've had individual pop-off performances quite a few times now. There's tons of promise from this squad, and I'm excited to see what they can do here on Storm Point.
味方車でドライブしてる
At least
あ
two
動いた
purple
わ
shields. They've got
あ
a
動いてる
lot
わ
of ammo
だ
for
いぶ
that Nemesis, and they have the crafter here
だいぶ前に動いたわ
at their disposal as well. And speaking of their performances, Reeds right now you can see over there in the corner,
なんかこん
fifth
だけ
overall for kill leader
さ
for match day 4.
あキルリーダー
Okay, all right. Look, Glitch Energy, they were the former BR Demons roster that
春
we
6位なんだ
all knew and loved for Split One. So glad to see Glitch Energy kind of pick them up. They've been interesting to watch.
日本も
per
こういう
se.
のパッと出してくれたらおもろい
I've
の
had
にね
in particular moments where I would watch their scrims back in the day and just kind of listen to the comms. And I will say that I feel like it's matured a
日本
lot.
26
And
からだっ
it
け
has to be because of the system that they've got in place. The Glitch Energy has brought those players so much structure in terms of
来週からだ
getting
ね
a coach, you know, having all the information at their disposal. Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that you bring on a team, they can help lift a lot of the heavy loading analysis work and kind of structure and kind of reapproaching everything. And you don't have to worry about a lot of that as a player. Like if you don't have a coach, you've got to practice and maybe keep everyone in line in the gym and make sure that people are it's a lot of work, and my heart goes out to all the teams that are doing it all of themselves and still churning out good work. But look at this native TSM. I mean, this would be a very interesting mid-game fight here.
TSM had gotten in pretty early as well, trying to nail down some space for them to hold. We saw Sentinels there on that slow side of the zone. They've also managed to hold some real estate for themselves, but TSM, if they can take out native and at least clear them out from under them, that would be ideal. But right now, trying to decide how they want to play this. They obviously know that they're below them,
応援してる
but also don't want to force anything to drop
ま
attention
あ
their way. They're already taking a few
NA だっ
shots
た
from
ら
across.
TSM かな安
And
牌安
TSM
牌
is
だけど
definitely going to be a little bit surrounded right now. Meat lovers now looking in at someone else.
I mean, look, Zainu, it's like, I always feel like somebody's yeah, dude, man is just looking for an angle. Anything, maybe any kind of
答え出
information,
そう
but as we get that free cam shot,
メインずっとその線のポイントっていうのそうそうこれ
actual picture of
ずっ
what is
とあってほ
happening.
しいよ
Zainu is
な
pretty much in that building by himself, and he was just trying to find any angle. But when you see fences, like, you
それな
genuinely never know what to
鼻歌
expect.
レベルじゃない
And I
止ま
really
った
appreciate the thorough research that he just put in, trying to see, hey, where is someone going to be at? We can see the bang ultimate
時が止ま
coming
った
into picture.
すごいすごいすご
I
い
mean, actually, we can see the rockets in the sky, bro. That's kind
ロ
of
ケット
gnarly
が
glitter.
空に浮いてい
It's
ま
just
す
a little scenic view here right now for the game.
えー
I think we might be dealing
マジ
with another crash issue here, so we're just gonna bring it back
マジ
again. Honestly,
そん
Tiff,
な
I
ことあ
don't
るん
wanna
だ
be
や
one
っ
to
ぱ
say this. We might be bad luck. I think it might be us.
あ
You know what? Honestly,
あ
man,
ああ言ってるわ
I was looking at those trees and I was thinking to myself, I could be a spider monkey one day. Yeet myself
Moro.
into those trees, glitter. It was a really lovely view. If there's one thing I do have to say about Storm Point, it is a gorgeous
Beautiful.
map. Simply,
Yep.
simply
ほ
beautiful.
っぺ書い
I
ちゃって
agree.
るもん
I'm
ポリ
glad
ポ
that
リ
you
ポ
said
リ
that because I've
で
thought that since
か
the second
ス
that
タ
it
バスタバのあれ
since the second it came out. I'm just, I was
No,
about
it's
to
actually
hydrate.
really
今
fun
飲もう
to
とし
play. Let
て
me just tell you
ま
that
ずいと
much.
思って
But
隠したんか
right,
な
guys, we're gonna get everything reset back up
ス
into
ポン
it
サーの関係
because I mean, I'm thinking about it this way. FaZe might be a little sad though. That launch pad was looking
Honestly.
nice. I was really excited for a launch pad zone.
I think what's important though is that we saw a lot of the teams that we were talking about being concerned with their point status, really honing in on making sure that they were getting a spot super early on. We watched how fast TSM made a move down there. We watched how fast Sentinels got down there. Sentinels has to go pretty far if you think about where Sentinels has to rotate in from. They
終わってない多分
still
普通に
managed
再
to
開
make
す
sure
る
they
けど
went all the way down and around to get a spot in the zone. Obviously, FaZe didn't have to move, but we saw 100 Thieves coming in, and these are all heavy hitter squads.
初動落ちした
They got
チームは
in
もう
there
一回遊べ
early,
ると思うん
and
だ
they
か
were
ら
going to do what they needed to do to ensure a successful game in that Storm Point match. And I think that that's going to be the theme that we're seeing because we said, will some of these teams slow it down a little bit, play it super smart, make sure that they're making those right
チャン
decisions?
ネ
I
ル
think
登
that's the
録をし
direction
て
that
く
we
だ
were
さっ
headed in.
た方ありがとうご
Yeah,
ざ
and
い
I
ま
think that's a really
す
strong point because especially moving on Storm Point from World's Edge, it begs to differ. A lot of these rotations can be very much accustomed to getting
朝配
through
信する
certain
と
choke
海外
points
の
and
人はちょっと
certain
来てくれ
zones
るイメー
can
ジあ
be
る
more
ね
meticulous than others. And I think that's a
今日でチャンネ
solid
ル
thing
登
to
録
look
3
at.
人
And
もう
honestly,
3
while
人増えま
we're
すありがとうござい
here
ま
in
す
chat, there's another thing I want to bring up. I
嬉しい
want
ね
to talk about Optic Gaming, kill leaders in a sense, bro. They have been fragging out, in particular,
チャンネル
not
登録
finding
1000人
so
まで
much
着々と歩みを
success
進めてお
here.
ります
15 eliminations alone for this team. Skittle Cakes up on double digits as well with 10, and then dropped 3 eliminations. And I know some people look at this and they're probably like, what is Drop doing?
朝
Bro,
2とも
Drop,
来る
I wouldn't be surprised if his
しかも平
damage
日
was
の朝だし
skyrocketing through the
余計に
roof
か
because he's probably providing a lot of entry damage while Noct and Skittles are able to kind of focus on some of those moments, get
やっぱ
those
ねいつも夜の9時半とかが
Yeah, and I'm
メイ
actually
ンな
really
ん
glad that we
で
get to talk about Optic because they have been having a day.
やっぱ朝やるとまたちょっと違う
On the match,
層の人というかなんというか
not a great match where they
ね
finished in 7th. They still end up with 9 KP.
違う時間帯で普段生きてる人たちと出会えるというか
phenomenal placements with a 4th place, a 3rd place, and then 7th place is truly not that bad. Optic is a team that we wanted to see a little bit more out of, and they
平日だもんね今日
completely dominated World's Edge. They've put
ガルルは
themselves
4
down
連
at
休
the
にした
top
か
of
ったから
our
休み取っ
leaderboard
た
for the day, and
は
Storm
は
Point
は
can just be another opportunity for them to continue
これが王
that
様よ
snowball effect.
Ooh, so I love that you kind of mentioned that, right? We're talking about a lot of damage being done, but they're actually capitalizing on it. And I want to highlight
チャンネ
another
ル登
team
録
that's
1000
actually
人っ
got
て
the
何
most
しようか
damage
な
in the
てかチャン
lobby
ネル
of
登
the
録
series
1000 人
thus far. It's going to
い
be
や数字
NRG.
が通ってから
Because
だな
look, just because you can get the
そういや
damage,
初
you
見だったわ
have to be able
それ
to
な
capitalize
それな
on it.
英語わかる
Nathan,
って
4
最初言われて
eliminations,
あわかりま
Sweet,
せん
4
って言って
eliminations, and Guild
あ
3.
きっとどっか行っちゃうんだろうなと思ったら
It's really interesting because Nathan is one of
まだい
two
てくれる
people
って
here
い
in the
う
US that has broke that
ありがとうございます
1000 kill threshold in ALGS, and
ア
that's
ットホームな
magnificent
配信なんでうち
to
は
be able to make that happen as we go through
うまっ
some of their moments from today alone. And honestly, I feel like I saw in the lobby chat for the players, Sweet was just like, look, I just
これ
want
さっ
to
きやばかっ
break
た
out
これ知らないバルキリーだからこ
I'm
れ
not
別
even mad
ちの
about it, okay? Like, why not? And when if we're talking about energy in the sense of them being a massive damage output team, that's just NRG
Oh my
doing
God.
NRG things. I mean, they are notorious for being able to slay out
初見かい自分がいない時に入ってきて初見さん初見さん
finish in 5th, but they'll still have double-digit kills.
めちゃめちゃ初見
They
さん
are just so strong when it comes to the situations. Very
いやなんかうちの配信ねなんか初見さんがスッとナチュラルに入り込んできてくれる人多くてなんか前からいましたよねみたいな空気出した感じで初見さんが普通に馴染んでくれるからねおもろいよなそういう人多いんだよなうちなんか初めましてだからコメントちょっと怖えよみたいな
casters, we need to stay
Good night.
apprised of what's going on in the situation. So I reached out to Sven at NRG,
アットホームな
really highly
配信です
regarded analyst. You've probably seen him on Twitter, constantly putting out the map updates like daily about where everyone is dropping. And he was like, look,
我々もこんなに英語喋れるようになりたい。馴染みやすいってこと？そうね。初見です。ワンモンさん、あなたは違う。おはよう。おはよう。いつの間に起きてたんだい？コメントめっちゃしやすかったわ。本当？そうなんだ。嘘つきいるね。コメントしやすかったね。そうか。よかったな。
master classes. I think the last one was about the
いいね。
ecology
そういう
of
空気感大
Apex.
事よな。
Granted, I was watching it on mobile, which I needed to be on desktop for that moment. But
落ちたと
you
こ
can
くらい
go
から
back if you want to specifically
お
learn.
は
He's
よ
got his
う。
VODs up, and it's really interesting to kind of
コメント
learn
マジで
about
普段
what
打たな
they're
い。
focusing on in
うち
particular
の配信でも割と
as
静か
members
だもん
of
ね、ね
teams
ま
that
こ
are
さん。
analysts and coaches. Glitter.
Yeah, I think people don't
ガールも
realize
ね、
just
人の配
how
信とかコメント打たない
important
のね。
all of
まあ
that
でも、チーキー
information
さんとか
really is.
そういう最
Obviously
近
in
でかい人
game,
しか見てない
we
からあ
talk
れだ
about
け
how
ど、
important information is. That's why people are trying to
栗
make sure
原
they
さん
have
と
those
か
rank
は
consoles and
昔
things like
は
that
ちょっ
because
とコメントし
the
てた
knowledge
と思
that
っ
you
た。
can get before some of the other teams can sometimes make or break
栗
your
原
entire
さんが
performance.
こ
But
の
then
有名
when
に
you
なる
take
前
all of
に、
that
あ
outside
の、
of the game, throw it all into
初
something
めの
legible
さ、
that your teams can actually use,
こんにち
digest,
はみ
and
たいな、
then
配信始めた直後
inform their
に、
play
こんに
style
ちはみ
with,
たいな
it is
コメン
absolutely
トをクリスさん読んで
invaluable.
くれるん
It's
だよ
why
ね、
those
最初。
analysts and those coaches are such an
あ、誰々さ
integral
んこんに
part
ちは、誰々
to
さん
the
こんにち
teams.
は、
Even
み
if
た
they're
いな。
not literally sitting down and playing the game, it is
あれを
as
狙って、
important
通
as
知
the
が来た
players.
瞬間に配信入ってこん
I
にちはって言って、
100% agree. I mean,
名
you
前を
think
呼んで
back
もら
to
ってた
kind
時
of
期がありまし
we
た
were
が、誰にも。
at London and we got to witness kind of just some of the teams
クリスさ
that
んだけ
didn't
だ
have
ね。そう
coaches. And I
ク
know
リス
at
さん
one
ピノ
point
トさんもしてた
X
か
that was
な。
kind of seated behind us. They had a really nice
そうそう、
day
クリスさん
yesterday.
ね、
And
そう
just
そう、
to see
丁寧
how
に返して
Isaac
く
just
れる。
sitting behind them and having that moment there in
今日やっぱ
LAN
平
and
日、
just
そうそう
being
そう、
able,
平
we
日だ
all
か
know
ら、
Isaac
いない
as
ですね、い
pros
つも
being
の
able to bring in such
コメント
valuable
隊長たち
information.
が。
But I mean, that's just the thing. It just makes such a competitive difference, I think. In
クリスさん
particular,
ね、
look,
そ
I
う。
know back when I was a little athlete,
いや、なんか
admittedly,
最初、
no longer
最
I
初
play
の
video
方
games
から
now.
メンバー入っとけ
You
ばよかっ
want
たな
everyone
とか
on
思
your
っ
team
た
that you
り。
can possibly get to make sure that you are competing
思っ
at
ちゃ
that
うよ
upper
ね、後か
echelon
ら。
of a level. But we're back in the dropship, Glitter. It is time.
栗原さん
Map
がもうちょっ
number
と
4.
尖ってる時期を
I'm
知っ
just
てるから
curious
があ
what
る
kind of zone we're gonna get.
We've got this now, all right? This is going to be
まあね、根はいい人だと思うんだよね、あの
we
人。
are seeing
昔からちょっと尖ってたけ
little
ど、
bit of a different path here for our teams.
コメントの返しとか
No,
も丁
originally
寧
you
だ
had
し。
said that you wanted something to be
だから好きだ
down
ったんだよ
by
ね。
Gale Station or Fish Farms because you are the agent
ちょ
of
っとハラハラ
Teams
しながら見てる
at
時
this
期もあった
point.
け
I
ど。
might be on board with that.
Look, I'm
いや
just
なん
looking
か
at
大
the
人
wall
に
right
な
now.
られましたね。
Green console
大人
zone.
になられましたね、
Very
クリスさん。
interesting
ち
flight
ょっ
path.
と
You're talking
母親
about
の
it
よう
is
な。
literally going from
別にね、
east
そこ
to
まで
west,
離れて
not
ないけど
casually
ね。
cutting off the
母
majority
親
of
のよう
the
なね、
northern
気持ち
side
で
and kind of just
大人になっ
pilfering
たなって、
around
ちょ
Fish
っと
Farms
安心して見てるんだけど。
beacon.
プレデターってみんな可愛い。まあね、プレデター
zone load in
ってやっぱ何かを、
potentially. Oh,
何かを失ってないとなれないっていうから。
Okay, all right. I am not mad.
そう、クリスさんお茶目可愛い。
Big for a few squads here, and some of the
4連休
teams
最高。それな
that are going to be
彼らも4
scary
連休だ
is
し
you've got
最高だ
Energy,
ぜ。
Optic, and DZ all on that
プレデターはやっぱ
western
ね、
side
ど
of
こか
things,
一部が
all in really solid
欠損
spots,
してない
not
と
only
なれないっ
against
て
the loop, but
言いますけど、
instantly
まあ、
have to place
その
the
通
hold
りだね
within
っていう
some
人もいる
potential
し、
zone areas, and
そんなことない人もいる
that's
やっ
gonna
ぱ。
make some of the rotations for these teams that have to make their way from a farther place
常識のある
difficult.
人もいる。
I mean, yeah, you think about LAN up in Lightning Rod. Granted, they're at like the highest point of the map on Storm Point, where typically a lot of the rotations moving south would be of ease to them. But now they have to go not only just a little bit further south, but all the way to the western
何かしらみんな
side.
ちょっ
We
と
were
ね。
talking to Phoenix,
あ、でも
right? He was talking in their
他今
early
プロやってる
EMEA
人たちは
broadcast
結構
about a
ね、
lot of
しっかりしてる
the
と思う
issues
な。
with having to rotate on Storm Point. It's
一
the
回戦ガルル
choke points.
昔
It's
から
every little bit of
オタクしてたもん
contention,
で、
all the
この界隈
powerhouse
の。
teams that you're going to have to get through.
結構いろんな
So let's take
ことを
Land's
知ってるか
rotation from
ら。
Lightning Rod, right? Yeah, there's
誰かと
some
付
dump
き合ってた
towers. There's
女
one
の子
over at High Point.
とか
That's
友達にい
great.
る
You
し。
can Valk ult from High Ground and Command Center, but you've got TSM that lands at the
でもね、
wall. Sentinels that
今
are
の
up in
競技
High
シ シーンにいる人たちは全然なんもないね。噂。最近は特に。なんか、APEX のプロ、わかんないな。他のプロわかんないからあれだけど、だいぶ、今の APEX のプロたちはしっかりしてる人たちが揃ってると思いますね。だからプロゲーマーはみたいなのはないね。
in a bit of a pickle. We've got Team Diverge getting some shots off in the distance.
安心して見れるからすごいいいよ。心が穏やかです。
Yeah, and I respect that, right? If they feel that this is a fight that they can take and it's going to be isolated. Wait, hold on a second, Glitter. We got McLovin and the Trident, and this is a very important moment.
ランってとこにアルブラレリ
cruising through the lower
アラブのアブラウルアルブラレリな。
Who's driving? Is it McLovin?
プレデターイコール怖いは意外と最近はあんまり関係ないかも。特に伸びてる人たちは。
Driving past though because it wasn't over water, so this is okay with me.
Yeah, bro, you were scarred from yesterday. I had a friend. I was watching this.
いい人だから伸びてるわけだからね。
She goes, did you see that?
やっぱり。
She's like, okay. Just wanted to make sure you saw that. I was like, oh no, I witnessed it, but LTC.
やっぱり何かつらる人って最初はなんか尖ってんなっつって人気出るけど今廃れてるし。
So they do not want to get stuck in checkpoint, and I respect this, right? Because typically, anytime you see a zone that kind of intersects back, so you've got the next ring, right? The back of North Path, those two rings are kind of touching, and every time I've seen this happen, it happens.
まあとりあえず栗原さんはとても素晴らしいです。もう皆さん見てください。何連休かって怒られそう。あ、そっか、ノイマンコさん。ノイマンコさん学生だっけ？これも質問何回した？春休みってこと？ガルね、ちなみに24も休みだね。でも25はお出かけするの。25お出かけして、26は日本のね、ALGS 始まりますから。
Yeah, it's really tough. At least they do have Watson in the mix. They've already got the Jenny down, and they're utilizing the fences to kind of try and anchor it off. It's a little tough to try and get an angle to try and shoot the nodules there. And they can kind of go back in and regen up at 250 HP, and usually around the Jenny itself, it'll have a circle of how many like shield health is left on it, and that's something to keep apprised of. And what really cool, Watson should always have multiple ultimate accelerants. You can see, not Daniel, already working on popping another one, which will instantly give them access to the Jenny. So should it go down, or maybe just pop a new one down and not waste resources on their heals. Very, very smooth move from them.
いやでもね、やっぱまた新年度になりますから大変ですよ。大変ですよ。忙しくなりそうだな。
Backing off with that banner. We're going to see what they can do with this rotation away, but
まあ王は王なんであれなんですけど、まあやっぱ
holding their own. They've been looking
下の者
quite
たちが
confident.
ね。
We've been seeing them get into even starting off the day with a really high placing finish, especially in that fight over in thermal.
下の者たちって言い方悪いな。その王を手伝ってくれる人たちの入れ替えとかなくはないから。探いてたくね。そう言っていた時期がガルルにもありました。
Monsoon on Catalyst. You know, they had a rather lackluster start here towards match day number 4. Currently sitting in 16th place. And
まあでもお金稼いで好きなことできるっていうのはいいかもね。
Right? There's been a lot of changes, and Luda and Cody being new to working with Monsoon, and Luda in general.
ガルル久しぶりにさ、そのロンドン行きたいと思ってさ、この ALGS 現地で見たいっていう気持ちで久しぶりに何かしたいと思ってお金貯めようと思ってるけどちょっと楽しいわ今。
They just need some time, right? You've just got to shake out the synergy and kind of make that happen. And I'm excited to see kind of going forward. Will they have some success here on Stormpoint? If not, I look towards the next match day because I feel like it's a matter of time for this trio.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, we've been talking about them about complexity for such a long time. They are another team that is wildly talented, and sometimes just it takes a little bit of growing pains to get to where you need to go, especially with all of the changes that these teams have had to face for this new season. I mean, when you see not, you know, one or two teams struggling, but the lobby sometimes having rough.
ネイワンコさんのことをネイワンコって言っちゃうのやばい。
an individual or a team issue.
バイトはしてるんですか？
They're all trying to figure it out together, and sometimes
し
some
てな
people
さそう
are
だよ
picking it
な。
up faster than others. Meat lovers,
い
though,
た
in the trident, trying to escape, and
ー。
it's
やばいね、これ。
going well. Down to a duo now and trying to survive. Hopefully able to wrap around this rock.
ミートラバーズはミートラバーズって書いてるから、MLS はまた違うチームってこと？
I love that they stuck the res, and you see
Yeah,
that they
almost
immediately
done.
drop a shield for the player that is getting rezzed, and they can kind of
あ、
focus
来
on
月から
healing
す
up.
る。
But this is a moment
いい
where
ね。
Team Diverge can really capitalize on this fight. They
お
have
金
the
は
health advantage.
貯めてお
Now
き
they
な
can
さい。
just force meat lovers into an unfavorable position because
何
you
か
know
したい
that
ときに
complexity is at down beast, and
す
they
ぐは
have
稼
the
げない
direct
じゃん。
LOS into this chokehold. You can see Zainu
マ
already
ジで
out,
貯
Funk
金は
already out. The
ね
issue is
した方がいい
those
と思う。
eliminations went to complexity,
2万
not
ずつ、
Team
1万ずつ
Diverge.
でも。痛すぎ、痛すぎ、痛すぎ。
A nice off angle there. I don't think Team Diverge was ready for all of that additional damage to come through as well.
本当に、これしたい、お金ない、貯金しとけばよかったが、多分本当にあるから。マジさ、もうバイトでもどんだけ稼げるかわかんないから何とも言えんけど、まあ1万とか2万とか、まあ最悪5000円とかでもいいけど、マジで貯金した方がいいよ。そのね、パッと今回でガルみたいにロンドン行ってとか、まあ別にガル貯金ないことはないんだけど、貯金ないことはないけど、やっぱまあ活動に関わることっていうか、まあ趣味に関わることだから、使っていいかは微妙なとこではあるじゃん。だから趣味に使えるような貯金。まあどっちでもいいな。お金今ない時点だから、まあ、何にでも使えるようにちょっと貯金した方がいいね。貯金しとけばよかったがないから、それは。お金貯めてけ。
Like it's a maze that I really don't want to find myself in. It's disgusting. At one end is land, the other end is TSM. Choose your corners carefully because you know how Hal is. He likes to explore. He likes to extend out a little bit from reps and verholes, trying to gather some information. And you know that if reps can get on that heartbeat, there's 2 beats. They have an advantage. But speaking of advantage, Faye is already grabbing a knock onto Asura, and they are in full force. We know Snipedad is feeling some type of way, especially after having pretty much God spot for last zone. They want to capitalize on the rotation and carry that momentum forward. So picking up their first kill of map number 4 in style. They just need to find the other 2.
I mean, the second Asura popped his head up around those stairs, FaZe is like, nope. This is where we would like to hold, please. The rest of Drug Free very close, trying to escape. Will FaZe be able to knock them out of the sky from the skyward dive? It seems like Drug Free is going to be able to make their way out of there. FaZe not going to be super stoked about that, but also happy that they don't have anyone challenging now in this building.
Look, I've got some mixed feelings about the triple take. Sometimes I feel like it's a triple take kind of day and it's hitting disgustingly, and then others I just watch that and I'm like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, very unfavorable because they were so low on health. They just needed 1 or 2 good pokes, and that would have been a completely different story.
ねえ、あるとよかった。
We'll see if they decide to stick with it after it has let them down there in that scenario. But like we said, at least now have lots of space to themselves, and they can hear those gunshots off in the distance. They can see some fences down below, so they've got some information at their disposal, knowing at least people are fighting in the vicinity, that they're going to be close to that, and they might be able to push in at a really solid angle because these trenches are starting to get a little precarious.
Ooh, I love that word precarious. It makes me so happy. I feel like just big words like that make me feel like I'm just a little bit smarter. No, I'm not gonna lie. But you're right, 100 Thieves on one corner, Dark Zero on another. Doesn't seem like they've been able necessarily to get back up into full force. It's going to be rather exhausting trying to get to that respawn beacon that's kind of up on the higher ground out of the trenches. And 100 Thieves, this was that team that I was highlighting at the pre-show, right? I was really excited about the momentum that they experienced yesterday, and I feel as if setting themselves up in the trenches, sitting on triple purple, pretty much kitted out. Yeah, Vaxon's only got 2 bats, sitting so technically 210 as they would call it. I like it though.
やだな、この通路で戦うの。
I mean, 100 Thieves know that they've got a team in front of them that they need to worry about. Do they know that it's a duo?
最近リドル視点のスクリームも見たいから時間がどんどん。バルルも最近ね、スクリームはリドルの視点とか、ワンタッピーさんの視点見てる。9時から始まるじゃん。で、12時ぐらいに終わるでしょ。で、そこから地域差のランクも見たいんだけど、最近ちょっとなんか前から好きだったゲーム実況の人の動画見たくて、寝る前にちょっと見て寝てる。めっちゃ時間ないマジで。
It is something that he will always do. So typically, I like to see
フ
him
ォレストっていうゲームのさ、実況見るの好きでさ、上がる。
interesting choice for him. And I know when we kind of briefly saw them testing
それの新しいなんかサンズ・オブ・フォレストだっけなんか
kind of the decision maker because when he doesn't want to come
新しい
to
の
where
出
he
たから
wants to see the dark veil,
それを
right?
ね、
He
ガル
wants
が
to
好
be
きな
able to throw it up because you lose
ゲーム
time
実
that
況
way.
の
But
人が
CLG
やってるから
taking
それを
high
見ちゃ
ground
う。
here in this engagement, Verhol's finding some success
ああね、
on
ガルも
line
タッ
as
ピーさん
Hell's
して。
optic.
I am trying to also pay attention into this kill feed right now. We've got CLG taking people out. Noxious now down. Native Gaming did go out to TSM, but while
9時
TSM
から
was fighting Native, Optic was
いつ
in
も
on
見
that
てる
battle,
最
and
近。
Optic took out TSM. That's bad.
Look, I mean, they were down in the trenches. They were in one area. It's hard to say kind of what happened to them and how Optic approached that as well. But Sentinels on your screen, they are alive and well. It is Sen City, baby, and Keon finding a good knock onto Glitch Energy's Aiden. So this is good. They can hold them out. They can bide their time. Glitch Energy essentially has to come to them. And if you're gonna split them up, you've only got to find two, and you don't even need to overextend for it. Rambo with the charge rifle being a little Chad, just out here finding some success, and Glitch Energy eliminated.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of help.
3人でもあの3人結構朝方やってない
CLG also getting involved on that damage down onto Glitch Energy, which also gives Sentinels the information knowing that if they continue to rotate along this edge of the zone, they
ちょっ
will
とね、
then
時間が合わない
be
時があるん
running
だよな。
into at least a team. They might not know that it's CLG, but they'll at least know that they'll be running into another trio in front of them, and they can kind of decide how they'd like to handle that push because the zone did shift, and it is not in favor of anyone that is on the southern edge here, and that is a lot of teams that are about to start having to make a huge
あ、そうそう、
push
朝ラン
from where they
だよ
are.
ね。どっちかっていう
Look,
と。
all I gotta say is McLovin
夜やってる時もあるけど、
McLovin
割と朝だよな。朝方だよな。
LTC Esports, they got out of checkpoint, bro. They were like, nah, we're
全が
heading
落ちました
to North Pad because it's gonna end on
やばい、
that side.
や
So
ばい、
you
ゼロ
called perfectly.
すっごいとこにいる。
There's
どうなってんの
probably
そこ
a handful of teams we just witnessed in that
起
free
こした
cam shot that are still in checkpoint that have not made their way through it yet. So I'd imagine that we're going to see kind of that
そこ起こ
mass
せるんだ。
exodus you were talking about sooner rather than later.
へえ、
Because
そこ
North
車
Pad's
線
going
通
to
んないん
get
だ。
so congested. We have 14
中入って
squads
る
here
のどうなって
and
る
35 seconds for a decision. And what I've typically seen done is
リ
they
グ
will
はね、
wait
スクリー
till
ム
the
配信してない
final
です
3
ね。
to 4 seconds before ejecting onto
え、
that.
そ
But
れ
a
中入っ
cheeky
てんの
little angle from Vaxlon. Well, that converted into a down on Jabberton.
おい、
Dark
死んじゃっ
Zero
た。
eliminated Vaxlon. You little menace.
He kept trying to sneak up
あ、
and
そっ
poke
ちは
for
ちょっ
so
と
long. I mean,
広いのか。
everything knew that they were there.
僕はスクリーム配信
DZ
してないんですよ。
was
だ
just
から
trying to
ね。
hold on. They were in such a rough spot.
じゃあ、
especially
どこ
after
見よう
getting
でリド
cut
ル見
down
て
to
る。
a duo. Now they are cleared out, and that at least gives 100 Thieves some breathing room. But meanwhile, everybody
なん
else
か
is trying to escape with
ね、
some
ス
sort
ク
of
リーム
semblance.
ちょっと
Sentinels were holding that eastern
なん
side
か
of the
情
zone,
報を
and
取り
some
入れ
of
た
the
いじゃ
teams
ん
that
と
were
思っ
in
て
that cluster at the
どこ
bottom
見
tried to
よ
leave
う
early and wrap
で
out
タ
to
ッ
the
ピーさ
eastern
な
edge. CCE
Ah.
and MLS being some of those teams, and now
そう
Sentinels
朝は見れない
on
ん
the
だよ
run
な
from those squads behind them because
平
they
日
ended
な
up
特
turning
に
back around, and it's coming back to bite them.
Look, 13 squads, round 4 closing, 19
え、そうね、
seconds
リトル
left.
ぐらいしかやってないね、多分その G1 は多分。そうね、G2 だもんね、他アキンとか、なんか、どこだっけ、ネクストとか。藤井さん好きなんですね。おー、ガルはクリさんとタマラハさんが好きです。藤井さんも好きなんだけどな。普通に3人ごと好きなんだけど。あ、そう、うんうん。情報を取られないようには絶対そう。 敵にね情報を与えちゃうことになるから、やっぱそういうの偵察とかあるだろうし。30強さん好きだからくっついたの嬉しいです。くっついたの嬉しい。意味深だなそれ。あの3人雰囲気いいよね。お、マサさんこんがれる。ヤホヤホ。ヤホスヤホス。月さんずっと月さん出てる。ノーセプってスクリーム出てないよね。
cover here. Complexity, unfortunately, just gets sandwiched between CLG and NRG, and they just kind of capitalize on that. My thing is, we're looking at MLS.
チーム練習他の時間にやってるから大丈夫とかいう可能性もあるし、スクリームは情報取られないように、どうなんだろうな。でも環境は分かってみた方がいいけどな。どういう理由なんだろうね。
With ease, now they've got to hit the reset onto madness before anyone pushes, but NRG doesn't want to leave their shot.
あ、待って、出てる。待って、昨日だってスクリーム終わった時間からやってるもんね。あ、でもたまになんかあれスクリーム終わって時間に配信してる時もあるからやっぱそのチームの休みの日とかもあるんだろうからどうなんだろうね。いやそうそうなんかさつきさんが終わってからやるみたいな話してる時もあるわ。けど今日スクリームないのって時間あるんじゃないのって時間にやった時もあるね。やべや来ないで。まあスクリームとか始まる時間帯からが割とフリーな時間になるからな、こっちも。Oh my god。敵もメタリスト。
He got knocked! They died! I'm smoking inside. He might be inside. Q it, Gil. I armor swapped. We're getting swung. Play my knock. Get in the corner. Do not move from the corner. These two teams might fight. Because they're not all in the bunker.
のみちゃんさんも見てたけど、あの人ね、やばいよね、ちょっと。
No, they're trying to... Gotta break these spikes. You gotta break it, Gil.
あの人はね、なんかすごいよね。
No. Okay. Nate, I don't know what's going on.
お、油ウールはアルブラレギだ。
I mean, look, Glitter, that was impressive, but unfortunately it came down to the fact that NRG had nowhere to go. Completely sandwiched as Optic kept turning their focus onto them. Now Lanimals looking to set themselves up
今まで隠れてたよな。
their first map win here in Split 2.
だってソロ大会の人優勝してるもんね。エペバズリだっけなんかあの時エグかったもんだって。みちゃんさんはね今まで埋もれてたな。UC の時あ、そう、ソロアリーナあれやばかったもん。あれはなんかすごかった。
I didn't hear it ringing through my ears because they were holding on to the high ground. They didn't need to take it out just yet.
UC の時はもうなんか次あんまりあの3人が噛み合ってなかったんだろうな。だってさつきさんとみちゃんさんいたんだぜ。
Look, that's kind of what we asked for. I told you guys kind of at the earlier bit of this broadcast. I briefly talked about it. Lanimals they were starting to look like scrim warlords, and that's tough to say because
クレームマッチの化け物でした。確かに確かに。なんだっけ、間欠戦の横の坂みたいなところで戦ってる時のなんか、あれ覚えてるわ。UC はなんでダメだったんだろうね。さつきさんとみみちゃんさんが一緒にいて、まあまあまあ相性か。ミラタングさんだったしな、もう一人だ。そうそうそう、探したから明るく、そうそうそうそう。やばかったよな、あれ。
How hard DZ tried to survive just as a duo, seeing if they could hide from whoever else was around them. But the confidence that we saw in 100 Thieves pushing through, and honestly, even CLG held their
アンチムーブだったし合わなかった。
なるほどな。It was that massive push in from the south, and that really messed with a lot of those squads.
Look, I mean, you said it best. It was incredibly tough. And as we have these highlights kind of queued up, I want to go ahead and note a tweet. Q Naughty from Landless. Putting every bit of my focus and energy into today's games.
考えたふうなめっちゃ合いそうね。しかもあそこ仲いいし。最高なんじゃないかな。めちゃめちゃ海ちゃんさんを生かしきれるチームなんじゃないかなって思うよな。楽しみだね。楽しみだね。
Yeah, I love that. I love being able to sit by and watch a lot of these players pop off in their own way. I saw other teams trying to be a little... I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on some of these swings here, starting with that mass exodus that we were talking about and kind of the rotation that we witnessed. It was tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, and we're seeing a lot of that play out here too, because so many teams, there just wasn't enough room. And you had mentioned it when we were talking about the cast. You're like, everyone's going to
はでも当時あれだよね。なんか CS から出てきたチーム CS に昨日まで CS でしたよねみたいなチームだったからなんかあれはすごい熱かった思い出があるな。なんか
They were close. They even tried to get the shield swap, but they were getting shot from behind at the same time. It was Optic Gaming, though. I'd love to talk about Optic Gaming and the way that them and CLG have really been able to stay consistent, exiting out of World's Edge into Storm Point. But Lanimals, it was finally their time to shine with their interesting composition. And with 7 KP to their name, but look at who's in second place. 10 KP going in favor for Optic Gaming. What a way to put the cherry on top for a team that's already sitting in first place overall.
I mean, I just think it's really impressive. NRG able to hold on to that positioning, but unfortunately weren't able to capitalize on the conversion of damage they were doing. They only picked up 3 eliminations that game for a total of 10 points. And you look down to CLG, found a lot of success, necessarily didn't last towards the top 5, but 7 Elims is still very strong for them. Let's go ahead and hop on over to the back half of the lobby. Sentinels, 2 Elims, and that was really tough for them because that journey to get into that next zone was so tough. TSM picking up a couple eliminations on the way, Team Diverge as well, because look, I'm not gonna lie, that was a really challenging zone pool, Glitter, and we saw all the teams in checkpoint.
楽しみだね。いろんなチームが変わって。
We just witnessed trench warfare.
ヘシコさんとリンさんとモンモンさんもやばいな、フェンネル。TSM ね、いや、最初チャンピオン取ってたよ、今日。でもね、昨日までの時点で21位とかだったかな。これ何チームわかんだ？kills in one match. When we're talking about keeping track of those individual kill leaderboards, he's gotta feel good about this type of a performance.
Look, all I see is the Jack in the Box logo on Skittle Cake shirt.
1試合目か2試合目かチャンピオンだったよね。で割とあ、そうそう、最初21位だったんだよね。で、なんかTSM 上がれないんじゃねみたいな話題になってたらしい。あ、でも今日ほら4位4位。そうそう、チャンピオン取ってた。でももうちょっと頑張ってポイント取ったかないとちょっとしんどいんかな。
I love this. I love this. I know we talk about skill,
まあ
but also not going
イン
crazy
ペ
in
リアル
the
ハル
feed.
さ
Look
ん
at
です
that
から
gap between first and second place between themselves
な
and
んとかなる
CLG
さ
with 46 points. Top 5 though, NRG, TSM, FaZe, the squads that, you know, were trying to put themselves on board on World's Edge. We still got 2 more games left to go for the rest of the day here in NA.
Ooh. Well, I guess all the action is kind of just getting started.
ライナさんおはよう。おこがれる。
matches of the day.
寝てますね。
5 and 6. But
絵文字が寝てらっしゃいますね。
quick break and when
お
we
は
come
よ
back,
う。お
we're
は
gonna
よう。お
have
は
so
よう。
much more action in store for you. チャンネル登録また増えとる。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。あしゃしゃしゃしゃす。これからも頑張ります。やっぱね、ちゃんと1000に近づいてくると増えるね。寝ても寝ても眠い。寝すぎじゃない。登録したでありがとう。 C さんでいいのかな。 C さんで。 C さんは TG さんが好きなんでしょ。それが打つ。悲しいこと言うなよ。 Oh, that was a quick break, y'all. We are ready to get into the action, but
ね、今ね、ガレルね、バナナ食べてる。
I really want Glitter and Vicky to call all the action for match 5.
今ガレルバナナ食べてるん
I'm
だ
gonna
け
grab some
ど。
popcorn because I really want to see how this is gonna turn out, but I need
なんか食べてる？なんか食べた？むしろ。
Hopefully you can save some food for me and Vicky because I mean I want some popcorn too. With all the action that we've been seeing on today and now what we just saw on Stormpoint, Vic, we're gonna need it.
Yeah, I definitely need some of that popcorn too. Get me replenished out here and see all the show go down, especially when it comes to circles like Northpad. I mean, look, we had basically 18 squads left up until Circle 4 when it was closing in, and then that's when the chaos just broke down. I also like to see the composition swap-ups from teams like CLG. Mamba now no longer Caustic. We were expecting that. I mean, it is Stormpoint. Now back on the Catalyst, those walls really put in the work when it comes to those tricky rotations if you're out in the open. But we're getting a change up on where the circle is going to be pulling. Looks like we're going to get one of our more central circles, which teams like 100 Thieves out here could definitely profit at the end.
100 Thieves, I mean, Meat Lovers, Dead Center, Team Diverge. And speaking of Meat Lovers, this is even great for NRG after the performance they just had. Now they can be right on the edge of the next 2 rings, and they can kind of just hang out here for a little bit if they want to.
Yeah, they're basically serving up everything on a deli menu out here for a lot of these teams with the way that they're going to be able to loot up all of Cascade Falls and get some nice clean rotations, even get that beacon maybe to the north if they are feeling a little risky out here because they know that TSM is going to be rotating probably in that direction when they leave the wall. Taking a look at where our next circle is going to be pulling, though, once we do exit out of Cascade Falls, Energy, another team that's going to be able to profit off of this rotation. Once they clear out Checkpoint, they already have this next circle information. Looking at the circle beacon that's already at Checkpoint, they can secure themselves down here and try to clear this western half of where that next circle is pulling.
許可取ってるんかな。 ALGS のミラーって許可必要ない説ってツイートしてるけど全然許可いるでしょ。あ、色もバナナ色。おい。おい、それはいじめだ。おい、色もバナナだ。おい。
terrible rotation, but they're gonna have to get to move in at some point if they want to at least find some real estate.
うつらうつら。
Hey,
う
they
つらう
were
つ
able
ら。
to rotate super quick
あ、うつらうつら。なるほどね。
Lightning
そ
rod
っちのう
into
つね。
north pad. It was clear in that north side where a lot of teams did go for earlier rotations.
何も
So
食べてない。
they
大
had
丈
to
夫か
worry
よ。
about TSM
彼
rotating
は
in
朝
that
と昼
direction
食べ
and
て夜
such.
食べないから。
Lanimals, while they are going to get kitted
何
up,
何
though,
何
they're
なんで
gonna
画面
tune
ちっちゃく
into
したガルル
Dark Zero. Getting
あれ好
involved
き
in an early fight here looked like
ガ
already
ルル
they
バ
were
ナナ
walking
だ
away
った
with blue
の
Evo shields,
嘘で
and
す
they're
よ
already pinging
そ
where they
んな
want to
ことある
rotate to
確かに
next.
バナナだな色
I can't tell if they were
Whoa.
バナを
now
ガルル
definitely
にするわ
running
名前
away from someone, but the people that they be
ごめんね
around are
バナナさんおい
potentially a little bit scared.
おい
They
喧
might
嘩か
accidentally cross
もう
paths
今
with
日から
ALG
配信
on
しない
that
から
quick
これが最
rotation
後だから
in, and this could be
じゃあ
a
な
very important early game fight.
バナナそっちかそっちかバ
Oh
ナ
man,
ナ
I was
南
dancing
国の
off
王
the
じゃ
other
んそ
side
れ
of my
な
seat, trying to hope that they could get the cover of the tree. Sometimes when
Moro.
you lean in, you can lean with your character in real life. They're getting beamed off this other side. It's Glitch Energy who are putting in the pressure. Currently, the Rolling Thunder is going to be able to move in, forcing them to back away. Nice space out here from Reeds, who also has his own Rolling Thunder ready. Sending out the Arcstar, though. It's a bad situation for Dark Zero to be in with the other squads to their north. The Beamage with the Nemesis, forcing them to burn more of their meds.
Now, Glitch Energy was the other team that we actually saw rotating in super early alongside DZ. They've now crossed each other's paths, and DC is in trouble. Zero's down, Dark Zero's eliminated by Glitch Energy on their rotation.
Dark Zero on Storm Point usually goes crazy, Glitter. Last game they got 14th, and now they're the first team to
お
drop
お
in
つおつ
game
楽しんで
5.
るかい楽しんでるよイケメンさん
I did notice that NRG
割と
got
し
in
っ
on
く
the
り
fight
来
a
てる
little
ね
bit. Saw that pop
塩
up
バ
in the
ナ
open.
ナ
I think it was Nathan that was helping out.
バナナ食べ過ぎて広くなったものそういうこと
That was a rough spot for them to be in.
泣いちゃうんだ
But
けど
like you said, a team that did well on Storm Point now out of the lobby could open up a lot of things for some of our squads. Checking in now with Team Diverge, seeing what decisions they're going to be making over here. This is going to be a building standoff here for these two, though, unless someone decides to go crazy. I mean, as I say, the Funk might be moving in, but we'll see.
He's just staring menacingly, looking over at the squad that's inside. There is somebody on the high ground, though. It's Meat Lovers who are about to get the set of information from the crypto drone. It is nice to note about the legend compositions that we've been seeing so far on Storm Point right now. Believe this is our only crypto that we have in the lobby for Meat Lovers. I know we have one Wraith in the lobby, one Horizon, one Rampart, of course, with Abrolele, who just won with Lanimals. 2 Watsons, 6 Bangalores, 14 Catalysts, 15 Valkyries, and 19 Seers.
仕事は順調に暇なからサボってるよバナナ食べてたバナナ食べてた
Taking their time.
香港こんなにバナナ
They
買う
shoot them from behind the double crack. As Fun gets taken down himself.
こんな大人になるんじゃないぞみんなサボっちゃダメだぞ
Zainu just absolutely popping off for a second there, barely making it out with a sliver.
皆さんおはようございます元気でしょうかお仕事頑張ってますかお休みですか今日も APEX は面白いです あれオルカさんだおはようございますまだ寝る時間じゃないですってか起きてくださいっていうか初めまして初めましてだけど待って車の前につけれるのああ、これちょっとおかさまでします寝さすな、寝さすな起こせ、起こせバナナちょっと苦手本当喧嘩かじゃあお母さんおはようおはがれるみんなこの時間に起きてくんのか10時半以降じゃないとみんな起きないとこだって急に視聴者倍以上になったけどさっきまで6人とかだったけど車につけられるのって今何がある ガスと
using this rampart to their advantage,
盾。
setting up shop just a
でもやっ
second,
ぱ
get the
ランパー
information
トは
that they are looking for,
車に
and
シー
then
ラつけれるようにならん
continue on with
と
this rotation. We can see the map
ダ
too
メだと
and
思うん
see
だよ
what's
ね。
going on with this zone as it continues to shift down, where all of these teams are
9時から
starting
ず
to
っと
set
してま
up
した。
shop. We
頭
saw
に
how
変えまし
early
た。
Twitch Energy
9時
made
から
their
待
move
って
in. NRG was also one of
9
those
時から
very early squads. You see LTC and their
21、
CCE.
22、
Everyone holding
23、
some spots, which means
24、
some of
3、
those edge squads are going to be in a rougher spot because there's not a lot
は
of
い、
space
14時間ぐ
for
らい。
people to play right now.
やば。
I love how you noted that with how quick some
あ
of
れや
these
べ、
teams
計
were
算できない
ready
かも
to
しれない。
rotate on
あれ
top of Cascade Falls. Lanimals did basically a drive-by for that
プラス、
circle, and
14
they're
時間ぐら
just
いか。
abandoning the vehicle, leaving it there for evidence. They're going to be able to
お疲れ
rotate
様でござい
downhill
ます。
through Stormcatcher where FaZe has already
さっ
rotated
きより
out
ラ
of,
ン
so
ク
this
し
is a
ま
good
す。
call from them. I'm mostly worried about their med
すごい
situation, but
な
we'll see if they'll be able to
モ
maybe
リモ
scoop
リで
some
す
things
か
up in Stormcatcher.
ランクは
Don't
モリ
think
モ
there's
リ
a
でしたか
replicator there, but there is a replicator on the way to that next circle by the edge of Cascade Falls and Command Center.
TSM potentially have Sentinels in their sights right now. Sentinels was just rotating through. TSM though, as they were trying to at least watch that rotation, starting to take a little bit of poke damage there. Verhol's having to get those shields healed back up. And TSM's gonna back off. They want to make sure that they play this as safely as possible because they don't want to have to go out early yet again.
Yeah, that last game, they got KP. I believe it was 2 KP, but they got 16th place. And with this circle pulling towards Cascade, you would think that exiting out of the wall, they could approach from the high ground that eventually declines into that low ground from that hill that Meat
私が
Lovers
つ
was
けられ
in
なくなってる
originally.
の初めて知
So
っ
many
て。
other
え、
teams have
人
already
つ
made
けら
their
れなくな
way
った
through the
車。
wall. I'm expecting them to rotate eventually through that north side, exiting out of the wall, Sentinel, CLG. Honor Thieves now as we take a look at what
1
they're
時間前
doing.
起きたけど、会
Barricading
社
the
到
door,
着です今。
finding
今からかお
some
仕事か。
safety inside of this building.
頑張れ頑張
Trying to
れ。
get some extra loot too. You can see
キロムさん、こんがれる。おは
real
よ
quick, ping some things from a distance.
う。みん
18
な、
squads
この
still
時
left,
間
and the
に
second
急
circle
に
is about to close in.
起きてきたな。
This is going to be the point of the game where once everyone has
これから
found
打ち
a
ました。
little bit of space to set up, and we're going to see
あ、
everybody
車から
settle
ね。
here just
え、
for a
人
little
つけられな
bit.
いんだ、今。
If they can poke and annoy each
マジ
other,
か。
they will, but unless somebody gets caught on a rotation or thinks a building is safe when it isn't and pushes in,
やべ
there
え、チャ
shouldn't
ン
be
ネル
anything too crazy right now.
の
You can
この
see
配信の
Sentinels there
説
on
明
the
欄で
outskirts
E3 のま
trying
ま
to see if
だ
there's。anywhere they can
やっ
push
ちゃった
into.
な。
Complexity already has a building. FaZe already has a building. I mean,
悔しい。
the
完璧に
this
したと思ったのに。
trifecta right now, Vicky, would be
何
a
分さ、
little
振ろう
bit
かな。
intimidating
こら
if
こ
I
ら
were
こら。
Sentinels trying to just make a safe push through.
ご飯食べ
Especially
る
with
の
full
け。
blue evos, and I'd
起き
love
ろ
to highlight FaZe's rotation to get here because they rotated out of
今何部隊
Stormcatcher,
だ
got into that next circle, and then
もう
took
マ
the
ッチ
skyward
5なんだ
dive
けど。
to secure this building.
みん
And
な
with
続
that
々と。
timing, they denied this space from Sentinels, who
この配
was
信終わった
looking
ら
for
自
a
分も寝
chance
る。
to
え、
maybe
ガレ
get
ル
a
ソロ
building
ランするけど。
themselves. Now they have to play on the outside
多
with
分
just a
わかん
block
ない
for
け
some
ど。
natural cover. They
ソ
can
ロ
hold
ラン
this
す
choke
るか
point,
寝るか、一
but this
旦
could
寝
be
るか
third
悩
party
む。
central for the squads that want to continuously rotate through this north side.
Yeah, and
学
honestly,
生以外
we
は
talked
ここに
about
いる
drugs
人
at
寒
the
い
beginning of
助
the
かるな。
day, a team that
か、
on
4
day
連
one
休が欲し
completely
くて
popped
休
off,
みを
and
取っ
now
た
we
悪
see
い大
them
人
here
か。
in between.
今日は元気だね、ガレさん。今日元気よ。昨日も元気よ。
And all of these teams definitely not wanting to be the first one to engage because that will just draw the focus of everyone in the area. Sentinels
サ
gonna
ボ
hang
り
out here
は
by these rocks for now
休みを
and make sure
勝
that
ち
they're
取
at
った
least
人か。
not having to worry about their
当
backs. We
直明
get
けです。
information on the map, Vicky.
当直って
Zone shift and
朝まであ
there's
れする。
lots of
朝までお
people
仕
that
事
are
だった
gonna
け
be
ど。
upset about that one.
お疲れ様でございます。
Cascade Falls
昨日から元気
is
出
a
るし。
dud. It's pulling all the way
なんかね、
towards
昨
the
日から
north,
楽しい。
where FaZe already
最近ちょっとね、
took
モ
up
チベーション
that
下がってて、
building.
配
Sentinels
信
are
の。
about to get in a messy situation. The
正直。
squad up in that armory is probably gonna
いや、
poke
多分
at
普通に
them,
体
but they're
力が
holding
な
the
くなってた
choke
っていう
point
のもあ
away
るん
from
だけ
meat
ど。
lovers. Oh man, this is going to be incredibly chaotic. I'm thinking about
ちょっ
TSM
と配
has to
信に
rotate out
対
of
す
the wall. You
る
can see them off your left-hand screen while
モチ
CLG
ベー
is
ションや
stuck
ら、
inside the circle.
まあい
They're
ろい
gonna
ろ
be
メ
able
ン
to
タ
use
ル
the
が死んじゃっ
replicator,
た
so
りと
they'll
か。
definitely have meds to work with. And just to highlight, for those of you guys just
一
tuning
回から次休んでもいいんじゃないとマッサンに。マッサンだけど誰かに言ってもらって。なるほど。
It was the mobile respawn beacon. I know
朝
yesterday
9時から次の日の朝9時。はい ?24 時間
A lot
や
of
ば。
change up, which is nice to note.
元気出したありがとう。元気出た。昨日のエイペックスがめちゃめちゃ楽しすぎて元気出た。
Cascade walls coming up. That digi threat does come in clutch though, especially when you have a Bangalore in your team composition.
ありがとう。その給料縫いワンコにくれてもいい。絶対ダメだよ。甘やかすな。子供は甘やかしとならん。下げランになっちまってたのか、下げすぎて。よくない。悲しいよね。だから調子悪い日は調子悪いもんね。どんだけ粘ってもダメな日あるよな。自分のペースでゆっくりやるのがね。そう、でもね、ちょっとチャンネル登録を早く1000に行きたいとか、やっぱさ、なんだ、収益化通ってるか通ってないか、通ってるかっていうか、その達成してるか、達成してないかって結構活動上、大事なラインになるんよね、結構。仕事がもらえたりとか、発射してもらえたりとか、多分結構重要なラインだから、ちょっと早めに頑張らないとなーと思って無理してたところはあったかな。バイトする働け。そうだ。でもね、ヨンコさん来月からバイトするらしいよ。どこで働く？パチンコみたいに下げても一発逆転あると思ってダメ。ダメな日ほんとダメだよな。なんか次こそはと思ってもダメな時ある。あー、ディーズーム頑張って。生きてお願い。あー、負けちゃった。継続は力ないですよ。頑張って。ありがとう。でもね、最近ちょっとチャンネル登録の伸びがよろしいので、ルンルンでやっております。最近というか昨日からなんだけど。そう、さっきね、さっき言ってた。なんかバイトしないのって言ったら、来月からするつもりです。僕またフライをもらった。まだ16日あるよ。大丈夫、大丈夫。よー、当たるな、今の PK。やんやんやんやんやん。わからねえ、何がなんだか。スパチャの田んぼも。あ、でも、チャンネル、なんかメンバーシップができるのはちょっとでかいよな。メンバーシップでちょっと違うことしたりもうありかなと思って。3分取れば一発逆転やって思ったらそうなんよ。その考えがもうダメです。それをね、思いついた時点でもう沼にはまってるのです。そう、もうすぐ1000で収益化なの。そうそうそう。だからちょっと昨日から頑張ってて、昨日から活動再開みたいな。1週間お休みしたんですよ。あとちょっとだから頑張ります。再生時間は当の昔に超えてるから。ヒロさんが言ってるパチンコ店だった。蜂蜜付きのメワンコ。どういうことどういうこと？あ、蜂蜜に浸かるようなまあまあですよ。そういうことか。大学までバイトしたことない。ああ、ガルちょっとだけあるな。バイト経験ゼロ。そうね、社会経験にもなるし、なんか人間関係のこととかわかるからいいかも。人間ね、なんか面白いことしたいね。雑談とかは面言でやろうかなと思ったりも
was a pretty clutch play there, not gonna lie, because there was a moment where they could have taken a lot of damage. They were getting looked at by complexity. Optic was on the other side of them, so it was a tough spot. They made it work by kicking back in with drug-free, back up to a 3-man. So they were able to get a little bit of a reset there after that previous engagement, setting up these fences.
あと85人なの。頑張ります。ファイターありがとう。
Defensive situation going here, but as the zone is
あ
continuing
ー、85
to
人
watching
か。
people
長
down
か
in
っ
the
た
kill
な。
feed, native gaming now eliminated phase down to 2.
名言のスタンプはね、作りたいな。今まだ誰にも依頼してないし、ちょっと忘れてたけど正直。スタンプいつから作れるの？あれってチャンネル登録増えることに増やせるんだっけ？ちょっと面言の人が増えることに増やせるんだっけ？スタンプ作るか何が欲しいか考えといて。あ、面言の登録者数999でバンされないね。やばい、それな。なんかさ、彼のことバンしたい人がいるのかわかんないけどさ、ミラー配信が著作権でどうなんですかって通報されてるらしくて、全然許可もらってるんで全然大丈夫なんですけど、著作権ダメなんじゃないですかっていう連絡、申請来てるみたいなメッセージ来てた。でもなんか YouTube からは許可出てる。汎用性高いの欲しい。彼の何がいいかね。ヘペばっかだから。ちょっと他の人たちのも見たりして考えようかな。誰に依頼するかとかね。ママなのか。そうそう、公式の許可いただいております。書いてる。し、別にもしなんかそれでバンされても、マッサンと公式のやり取りがあるはずだから、それで提出したら一発だし。メンバーの数によってスタンプの条件も、なるほどね。なんかね、この普段コメントしてくれてるガルルが把握してる人じゃない人たちがどれだけメンバーシップ入ってくれるかなってちょっと楽しみでちょっと楽しみなんだよね。なんかどのぐらいいるんだろうそういう人ってみたいな。
Sentinels potentially going in for this push as they know that there's damage that's been dealt and potentially this is there a solo under them that they're going to
なんかね、ひっそり応援してくれてる人もいるし、
Sentinels losing one as they try to push in. It is
クラウドファンディングの話の時もね DM くれた人いて、普段コメントしてないんですけどつって。そうそう、メニュー入ってもねコメントしない人はそうそうそうけど無言で入ってくれたら面白いよね。ガルルのことそんな好きなのってちょっとね楽しみ。何人ぐらい入ってくるんだろうなって。
Meanwhile, Optic has just been hanging out on the top edge of this the entire time, watching it go down. Let's jump in for a listen in to see if they can close this whole thing out.
I threw an arc on that kid.
あと85人か。
I'm getting the right
なん
door
か
too.
1000
I'm getting the right
人
door.
記念というか収益化記念で何かやろうかなと思ってるんで。
They're playing roof. We back up. We back up now. We back up. We back up.
1000人行って多分もうすぐ申請できるからガルル。
I don't have wall for 7.
That's all I can give you.
I don't see it. Got it.
時間は
The left
超
wall
え
is
てる
goaded
から
still too.
Yep.
人数が1000いった途端に
I
も
think
う
we
申
just
請
play
で
this
きる
left
ん
wall.
で
I think we hard play the left wall. Literally
それがどんくらい品質かかるか分からんけ
Three
ど
up on roof. 3 up on roof.
Okay, I'm not letting them swing back here and take this rock from us.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
ニズとか大箱のメンバーもいいけどコメントしてない。ああ
Two bats.
やっぱでかすぎるところってコメントしてとて流れちゃうしなっていう気はするよね。
You have a thermite?
No.
Dodge that.
カサマスのためにサバーからも面言入る準備は一応さいいやいいよそんな無理しないで無理しない
I
で
don't have this drop.
Dropped it.
いいよいいよ。
They're on the right side of the roof.
I'm gonna cue the roof.
They walled out. They walled out.
I walled us. Crouching, crouching.
サマースとか全然考えねえよ。もう好きに
They're gonna have to fight each other.
好きに生きてくれ
Make
気
sure you
楽
don't
に
get caught out alone. Knock.
I know.
I'm gonna vert arc the roof.
無理するな無理するな。
I got hit by selling. They might slide on
1日から1週間ぐらいそうだよね。
Listen, there's like a bunch of armor
ガ
swaps
ル
on
ル
the
別
left
に悪い
side.
こと
I
して
know,
な
I
い
know,
し、
I know, I know.
一回も。
I'm gonna queue the roof. I'm queuing the roof.
おお、
I'm fighting. I'm flying up. I'm flying up.
Fly,
I got ran for it.
Valk low,
Nice.
dead.
Low ground, low ground, low ground.
Catalyst, flash.
キャン
Have a gold knocked on the play.
Hold knock, play knock,
Crouch.
play knock.
Nice. Last team,
Last
last team.
guy.
え
Nice. Good fucking.
すげえ、センチネルズ勝った。そろそろ仕事もらった方がいい気がしてきた。ありがとうね。仕事次に来てくれて。おー、マイガー。
Somehow, in all of that chaos, Sentinels is the team that comes out
変な
on
色
top.
カタリスト。
I was almost
これ悪口
positive
チク
Optic
チク
was
言
going to be
葉これ。
able to do that, and the PK shots weren't hitting Vicky.
ちょっと戻ります。また来ます。ありがとう。
Keon said, "Hold that."
わちゃわちゃだね。え、てか、締め切ってたよね、今。
He was on the top of the roof. Can we also recall the journey of Sentinels rotating north away from the wall?
締め切ってたよ
getting to
な
that。choke point, holding that choke point with no building, while all those buildings were taken up from the very beginning of like what early circle 2.
もし初見さんいらっしゃいましたら、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いします。
I was expecting them to stall up in the
高
air.
評価が忘れてる方はよろしくお願いします。
I got it for the rest of Sentinels. We got to come out on top. We can't let
あ
number
とちょっ
one
と
green
だ
wall coming up, take that game. But
1000人
still,
まではちょっと
Optic
ソロ
Gaming played that amazingly.
ソロランを
Love the
頑張ろう
fact
か
that we
な
got to
と
hear
思っ
their
てて。
comms at the very end and how calm and collected that they sounded.
Yeah, you would not have guessed
悪口
that
か
those
な
were the
今の
final moments
変
if
な
you
色
were
の
only
方に
listening to
座
their
って
comms
たの。
because of how
あー、チクチク
chill
言葉
everybody
じゃ。
was. But this is just another consistency success in the column for Optic Gaming today. Like you said, they might not have gotten the win, but they have been crushing it all day. Their numbers after this are going to be absolutely insane, and I'm very excited to see what it does, because at the beginning of the day, Vicky, we had said we didn't have any point sponges. Everything was very close, and Optic Gaming is changing that.
Yeah, they're just getting a lot of KP. I mean, game 2, they got like 12 KP. Game 1, they got 7. It's just
カエルさんバナナぐらいの悪口だった。
damage
はい。
and KP overall. I think game 3 on World's Edge, they got 9 KP.
2万個
So
も
yeah,
そろそろ
they're not
クビ
getting
だな。
the desired placement points, but being able to get top 5 plus insert double
ちょっと手が
digit
滑って
KP
ブロックしちゃうかもしれ
they're
ないな。
thriving. They don't even need it at this point. That's why they're
ちょっ
number
と手が
1
滑っ
in the
ちゃうか
overall
もしれね
standing so far. Wouldn't be surprised if they still hold that spot, because there was a pretty big gap between themselves and second place before that game, which I believe was CLG at the time. But now taking a look at our game highlights, for what we witnessed from the very beginning, Glitter, Dark Zero, the first team to go down in this game 5.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise. I don't think that either one of us thought that was going to happen. We noticed that both Glitch Energy and DZ were making really early rotates to try to get into the zone, and it did not go DZ's way. They ended up getting a little bit of a third-party action there from NRG as they did assist Glitch Energy in taking out DZ, but that was a tough spot to be in. And then we saw so many other crazy fights from here. I mean, we watched MLS force CCE off this
今日
position.
公務の日はいいけどさ、休日はちょっと朝ごはんプロテインってちょっとなんかやる気がないよな。
TSM go down there in the kill feed. I mean,
休日はプロテインに済ましたくないよな、なんか。
because of that zone shift. There was the zone shift.
2日連続でちゃんと朝ごはん食べちゃってる。
It was
体調
crazy.
やばいかもしれない
Everybody。was like, okay, Cascade
で
Falls.
も夜ごはん抜いたんだよな、
The
昨
game
日。
said no. The circle pulled all the way north. But you know what's great to highlight, actually, are the teams who did get ahead of the curve, who did predict right there. That's why Sentinels was able to hold that choke point. Meat Lovers were in the armory right there, right next to where the circle was going to be pulling. AJC shared some of that, as well as FaZe, who tried to get Bodhi right back into this fight. You saw the Catalyst wall that was utilized to try to give him some extra cover. But my little favorite rap play was definitely the
お母さんのファンボ
SmackDown
ックス
rap
ちょっと気
play
になる。
where nobody could find him. Not Rambo, not Albert Lily,
月
nobody.
1
He
の
was forced off that high
約
ground
月
eventually, but
1
at the
の
end, Sentinels
日
was the one
記
to come out
と
on top.
おおキックキックあービョンビョンビョン
Wait, okay, hold on. We gotta
こんなことなってたんだ
Okay, we definitely need to, because that was impressive, and that's why we were so confused, Vicky.
まあ
because
ね
there was so much
イラス
chaos
ト
going
サブとか
down.
載せたことないんだよ
From
な
the perspective
そ
we
の
were
辺
on with
はちょっ
Optic
と
Gaming, it looked like they had it locked down, but It was anything
Like,
but. And we just saw in the highlights how insane the final
壁紙
circle was. We're gonna run it back. We're gonna see it from Sentinel's
壁紙っ
perspective,
てなん
Vic,
か
so that we can
てかイラストの
understand what went
誰がサムネ
down.
とかに使ってるイ
Talk
ラ
us
ス
through
ト
it.
を、まあ、
Look,
一
Sin
枚
City was out here and they did not play. Not only did the catwalk
丸
go
々
up here,
保
they
存
had
で
the
き
high
る
ground
と
for
か
a
そういうの
while.
もありか
Like you
なと思っ
mentioned,
た
we
りも
were
す
on
る
an
ね。
optics point of view, but right here from
僕
Sentinel's
より
line of
3食
sight,
食べた方が
there
いい
was
って聞こ
nothing
える。で
to
も
see.
彼
The
ね、
only thing you could
食べ
really
たら
do
食
in
べ
this
た分だけ
situation
全部
was
体重に
fly
反映さ
over
れ
the
ちゃうタイ
wall,
プで。
which Sentinel being on this little corner of the rooftop of the building could see where you're approaching,
まあ、
and
残る
Optic
の
Gaming
が
needed
一
to
番
inch forward in this
いい
instant.
ん
Yeah,
だ
they
よ。多分
had
摂
some
取
of
カ
the
ロリー
catwalks
が
eventually,
な、
but you heard
日
it in the
々の
comms.
運動
We
に
saw
対し
that we
て
were going to try to fly over. Rambo came in swinging,
あれ
duking
なん
it
じゃ
out
な
in
い
the
か
air.
な。少な
Nobody's safe, not
消
even
費カ
on
ロ
the
リーが
ground.
少な
I
いんじゃな
love
い
this
か
point
な
of
と思
view.
って。
Looking at Rambo says, you cannot have this high ground. I am not
スロー
going
に
to
すな。
stall. And that was huge because he still was able to take a good amount of circle damage for Rambo to be the finishing blow.
I mean,
難しいね、ダイエッ
understanding
トって。
how that happened, that was impressive from Sentinels. And that was a team that we were looking to get that dub on the board. 6 kills, plus obviously the 12 placement points, giving them a total of 18, but matched by Optic, Vicky, because of 9 more
さあ、次がラストマッ
KP
チです
to
ね。
add to their tally for the day. Optic have been an unstoppable force.
Again, will not be surprised with Optic Gaming holding the lead, even though they haven't taken the dub. They've definitely been out here with a good amount of KP. Also, Lanimals still as consistent as ever on Storm Point. You love to see it with the Rampart. Taking a look at the second page, though, I know we see CLG at the bottom, AJC, but looking at the second page, 100 Thieves. We saw them go down in a bit of a skirmish when we saw Lanimals hold that high ground position over them. TSM dropping an 18th when they could have rotated off from the side of the wall into the direction that Sentinels was able to beat them in that rotation. Dark Zero, we talked about it before, but also the first team to go down in this lobby.
Yeah, and of course, shout out to Meat Lovers for that 11 KP on the first page. But let's see what these numbers do to the series results, because this is something we're going to be paying attention to. And obviously, no surprise, Optic Gaming absolutely smashing it at the top of this table. The point gap is unbelievable right now, but what's happening, because they're sponging those points when anybody else below them does well, specifically looking at Meat Lovers now, you can see how that is shaking up the standings. Anyone in the 30s slowly dropping down. CLG maintaining that second place position, and everything else working out in favor of Sentinels, at least getting themselves up there on the first page. But we still have one more match in the books that could really affect anyone that's now in like 3rd through 9th. So it's going to mean a lot, but we're going to send it to a short break before we get into all that action. So don't go anywhere.
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Our final match match for day 4 of Split 2 of ALGS is about to kick off. We just had an insane ending in match number 5, Vicky. It's going to be hard to hold a candle to that, but after the performances we've seen in general, this last match could mean a lot for so many different teams.
Look, you bring the Valkyrie out here and she'll take out the spear and she'll make sure that you have no chance in that final circle. Rambo came out with hands swinging and they secured that dub for Sentinels for game 5. Final game though, Glitter, and Optic Gaming, despite holding the first place spot with basically double the points that CLG is holding on to in second place, they are now able to see if they can finally take a dub, or maybe they don't even need it at this point because they are frying this entire lobby.
Honestly, the win would just be the icing on top of the cake today for Optic Gaming because they have slayed out. They literally haven't, they finished outside of top 4 once so far all day. They have almost podiumed every single game. They have had multiple games with double-digit kills. They are destroying everyone today, and that's putting it lightly.
It's crazy. You gotta leave some for the rest of us out here, Optic. But you know what? With the way that they've been playing, even from week 1, I love to see this consistency flowing into week 2 right now. They got a lot on board here. They want to be able to showcase what they got in store for us. Dropped being included in this roster. The green wall is up and alive. Despite all of these black catalyst walls coming up, it's the green wall that still stays on top. Now we get to talk about where our final circle is going to be taking us. And FaZe, they are eyeing this happily.
FaZe is going to be very excited about that one, obviously giving them an opportunity here to nail
こんにちは、ALGS の通知来てなくて全部見過ごしました。ディスクセイジさん、ミラーしてくれる人いると助かります。ありがとうございます。ソリー。そうで、お手洗い行ってきます。
Either way, FaZe is going to be having everybody coming to them, so we'll definitely be watching those rotations and the decisions our teams are making in order to get in there nice and early. And speaking of those early rotations, Sentinels already going for that skyward dive to at least get them the majority of the way of where they want to be right now, and hopefully they can find a decent spot in the zone.
I like how they were quick with it to get on top of this rooftop because they already have that next circle information. Great call here from Sentinels to try to get back-to-back wins, and now they're about to find out who is where. Gonna get that information, but does let other teams in the area know that they did get that scan. So they can just wait it out here, loot the rest of this POI here, see where they want to rotate next as well.
Let's check that quadrant.
Dark Zero, a team that went out very surprisingly early in our last match, specifically in an early rotational situation as well. Now we're going to see what they're able to do this time around. Already making the move over so that they can get some real estate themselves and possibly see it happening twice, Vicky.
Can you imagine, Glitter, when we were talking about them on the second half of that overall standings before jumping into today? They're trying to jump all the way to the top of the overall leaderboards, at least for today alone here too. I think right there, they basically are now in that top 10 area after that dub. And Keon is going crazy. Love the little skirmish we saw with Rambo at the end. Dark Zero is finding these blasts with the charge rifle, gets that crack. Sharky, though, gets answered back immediately. He's forced to drop down and reset.
減らすか。でもね、食べ始めたら食べちゃうんだよな。いっ
At least get a little
ぱい。
bit of damage down there, though. DZ now aware that they do have some people ahead of them. They're going to be paying attention to
RFA 配信で。何 RFA って。
action coming out here, which will just be good for Sharky's shield for now. DZ at least having a more successful
これね、なんかいろいろスケジュールとか確認しとった。
rotation this time around, being the ones doing the
いや、
damage
こ
as
れ
opposed to being the ones taking the damage.
こ
And
う、うわ、やべえ、配信
they
しない
want
の
to
とかあ
close
る
out
な。
today on a high note. We mentioned it a few times, but this last time we saw them in this group matchup, this was an opportunity for them to do well because that's what we saw them. They closed out the day with a win on Storm Point. It was a map that went really well for them, and
こうなんかカスタムお
we're
誘いとか
not
いただいて
seeing
て
that
ね。
as much today. Maybe they can get it here.
次のツアーの時にミクロンサイズのいいお知らせができそうです。マジ？彼もちょっと言わなきゃいけないことあるんだよね。頑張れ。あ、悪い話じゃないから。 頑張れ、い
LTC
ってらっし
also
ゃい。
not giving up this space. They have set up shop
キングフィッ
with the
トア
rods
ド
and
ベンチャ
fences.
ー。あ
Gonna be able to get some extra loot off of those spiders.
あ、なるほど
McLovin
ね。
is
でも
absolutely
そんなのや
loving
ってる
that
時間あっ
gold
たら
Evo
ガルル
shield
エ
here
イペックス
too.
さえもん
And
ね。
not Daniel is still trying to paint the rest.
いや、私に怖い。じゃあ、悪い話じゃない。悪い話じゃない、全然。悪い話じゃない。別にユキミさんには関係ない。けど、あ、ちょっと言っとこうかな。言っといた方がいいかもな、ぐらい。あれ、ハサミと止まらないの分かる。でしょね、ワンコの悪口は、いや、悪口、誰の悪口も言ってない。誰の悪口も言ってないよ。いや、ちょっとなんか現状報告みたいなのを。うん、現状報告ね。うん、現状報告。大会どんな感じでしたか？なんか TSM があんまり調子よろしくないんがね。でもね、今日一発目チャンピオン取ってて、でも今日始まる時点で21位とかだったから、ちょっとなんか見てる側もヒヤヒヤみたいな感じらしい。けどまあまあ TSM ですからみたいな。あと何日あるんだこれ。
Hopefully not run into everybody as they were just kind of kept off of the original path they wanted to take.
Yeah, looking at this overhead too, and all the squads that are rotating from that northeastern side. Lanimals are about to rotate right on top of FaZe.
あくびが出ます。
AJC right to the south of that on top of Launchpad, who also have that circle beacon information. Man, the outside of the circle right here is going to get hot, and Optic is taking their time to rotate in. They don't need to get greedy. They have all the points in the world. They don't need to overextend. They just want to make sure that they can get as many points at the very end, even if it means making sure that they can get placement points and give up some of the KP that they've already got.
次が4月の10日。めっちゃ後じゃん。4月の17、24。5月の1日。5月の8。え、長くない？あ、了解了解、送ってる。オッケー。ごめんね、昨日見れなかったから。見ます。おおおお。Day1 から環境変わってるとかありました。いや、なんかね、相変わらずカタリストシアかなっていう感じかな。でも TSM が春か、なんか、なんだっけ、ホライゾン入れてる感じあったけど、カタリストになってるね、春も。あとは別に、このね、パーティーに何パーとか入ってるぐらい。別に何も変わってないかも、環境は。見てる感じは。やっぱりカタリストシアだなって感じ。
What is this final game? Lanimals are also in trouble. They were feeling themselves on Storm Point. Now they lost out on
わかんない。もっと真剣にめちゃめちゃ見てる人だったらなんかもっと言うことあるのかもしれんけど、彼らが見てる感じはキャラ構成とか特に何も変わりないかなって思う。やっぱりカタリストかーって感じ。
You can see Naughty up above as well. They're all trying to figure out how they need to handle the situation. Are they going to be able to get Albrelli up? Or is that something they're just going to have to leave for now? Able to stick to res here. Nobody ends up pushing up onto them. So they've got the safe space and the time to do the drop.
ランパートで扉壊しちゃうもんね。
Reach as quickly as possible and then hopefully make their way out of there.
なんかね、タギストを押せいてタギストを使うかって感じだよ。タギスト視野が上からタギスト視野でやるしかないんか。ホライゾンいいと思ったんだけどな、ガルル。
They were just able to make their way in there and barely take any damage on that skyward dive. People were trying. They were trying to get some damage on
カ
some
ー
while
テ
they
ン
were
出
in
したら
the
シアウル
sky.
ト
It
と
didn't
ラ
work.
ンパ
Optic
壁で
now
一方的に
has
防ぎ
lots
なが
of
ら
space to
あ
operate
ー
with
確
here.
か
You
に
can see DZ across the way. That was a pretty clutch rotation
強化壁
for
簡単に破
Optic.
壊
They
で
should
き
be
る
able to hold that for
う
a
ん
little while now.
多分
DZ
そういう意図
though,
だ
we
ね
saw DZ try to third party in the kill feed, cleaning up some of these
そ
kills
れ
on
が
some squads, going out early.
刺さるかど
Now
う
they're
か
gonna be looking down at Optic to see if they can just at least be annoying and get some damage down.
なんだろうな
This is a much, much better game for DZ.
Look at the loot that
これ
they
ラ
have
ストマッ
too,
チです
Glitter.
6
Two red evos. You got the gold
これさっ
extended
き聞こえてないんだっ
light mag
け
on the R301 in the hands of Jen. That's a scary combo, especially with the car to complement it. 16 squads left, and DZ was able to secure the extra KP. They are frying the 3-2-1. That poor Catalyst did not see it coming. Cue the music here for them while they still secure this choke point area, but Zero falls incredibly low. It's always DZ that
ハイカ
somehow
ラとコントローラー
it's always
必
better
須
late
っぽい
than never when we decide to
あ
pop off on Storm Point, I guess, some of these days.
ー
But
でも
this is what we like to
NA
see,
がね
especially
ど
when
こ
it
が
comes
コ
to
ントローラー
clearing
の
out
チー
this
ムかと
area
かあんま
north
分
of
かんない
Optic.
よ
They
ね
don't want to try to fully send it in
誤解
here,
は
though.
さ
They
さ
want
れ
to
てる
keep maintaining this aggression in this space, denying the rotation opportunity from the squads that could rotate behind them in that choke point.
Yeah, and you can see they've got Sharky staying back, anchoring so they at least have their building, as well as the ability to zone anybody off of that space somewhere for the rest of DZ
この
to
後
fall back
ソロラン
to
しようか
Zero
な
still out there trying to
す
maybe
ぐ
poke at complexity, but not doing anything too crazy.
ペ
CLG
アやり
though,
たい
like, right next to complexity, and this could be a perfect third-party opportunity for DZ.
あくびが
Oh, it's early
最
Christmas
近日
out
付
here.
変わる頃
CLG
に
in
寝
trouble.
て
Mamba on top of the spikes there too gets taken down. DZ getting involved. Complexity now cleaning up what's left. LTC get eliminated in the feed. And
むずいよな
Complexity looking to add another team right there. CLG get taken out.
カルルンはパッドで
We were
す
talking
カ
about
ルルン
CLG
は
earlier on.
もともと
It's
プ
such
レ
a
ス
good
テでやってたの
performance at
ね
World Edge. They made a comp swap up, and now with the rolling
その
thunder,
名残で
Complexity
パ
are
ッドで
looking
す
to dance around the missiles.
You know, for getting dropped on like that, complexity
いい
did
ね
not take a lot of damage.
平日朝のそうだよね
As well. They
そう
are
だと思う
pushed
わ
up to see if they can
だからね
maybe
盛るなら
participate,
今だ
but
と
they
思う
haven't
から
forced
やろう
it
かなと思って
too aggressively yet. Now complexity in the crosshairs of quite a few teams, and once DZ sees that, they once again retreat back to the safety
平
of
日
their
朝のなんか
building
見
to
た目
hold
見た目は
that
結構
once more.
見
It
た目
was almost an opportunity that they could have capitalized on had complexity taken more damage, but they did a very good job of cleaning up CLG as quickly and efficiently as possible.
やっぱね
And
朝
to further break that down here too,
めっ
Glitter, with
ちゃ漏れる
CLG
と思うんだよな
and
ガ
phase
ルルも
out, CLG's in second
で
place with
夕
50
方あで
points.
もそうか今
Lanimals
学
is
生
right
休み
behind
か
phase in
夕方
fourth
ぐらいにな
place
る
with
と学
43
生帰ってくるからとか言おうとしたけど
Wouldn't it be
今春休
crazy
み
if
だな
Lanimal stays in this lobby, pops off, and then secures himself a second place spot? Because we know that Optic Gaming has this too big of a gap between themselves and the rest of this lobby. They have 81 points included still right now, while they've been still frying in this final game. But Lanimals may find themselves in an opportunity to snag that second place spot if they have a pop-off game right here.
And that's what we were talking about, because Optic had point sponged
今日で
so
ダイヤに
many
来
of
て
those
えな
points. It's still anybody's game once the second you get to second place, like you're saying. CLG out early, phase out early, and this is a prime opportunity for people to get those extra points. I mean, and it's going to be important for the likes of Lanimals because they are the teams that need to get him on the overall leaderboard. DZ now getting pushed. The first
Furia
time that
二人
the aggression's being brought to them in this game by
あそう
Meatloaf.
フューリアスねえわ
It's gonna be
本当だ
interesting
わ
to see how DC handles this. The first shield crack comes out. DZ now
えフューリアにもこのなんか
on the
チ
back
ッ
foot here.
チ
Meat Lover
ス
continuing
ラ
the
ッシュ
aggression.
なんちゃらみたいな人いるよね
Oh, order up here. Meat lovers
What
gotta
the-
look to their six. Oh, the ping, the immediate retaliation
Yeah.
now. Shield Squad moves right in through the front end. They get the crack on the Seer. Dark Seer will get eliminated.
こちらが死
They
ん
don't
だあ
have the
TSM も
opportunity
落ち
to
とる
reset their
な
momentum after they finally found their
オ
stride
ン
on
ム
Storm
も
Point.
死んでる
And it's
し
only Tech alive. He looks at the Arc Star. Maybe see if he can hide behind the knockdown shield. They see him through the Seer attack though. He's hiding for his life behind this.
痛い
I don't know how he just made it out of there with his life, able to also grab that shield, but TSM go down in the kill feed.
ランクだと何使ってる今上がるカタリストカタリスト練習しようかなと思って
For the rest of our teams because they were tied with MLS and Sentinels
カタリスト練習してます
heading into this matchup.
もうね、何使っていいか分かんなくて最近。だからちょっとカタリスト練習しようと思って。オンムーがやられて、オンムーが我らがオンムーが。いいね。わら。カタリスト使ってる昨日も。仕留めた。なんだろうな。でもさ、トゲトゲってさ、敵のカタリストは効かないんだっけ？サブラの瞳のオンムーが。カタリスト、ガス落ちみたいに敵のガスも効かないとか、そんなんだっけ？カタリストも敵のトゲトゲ効かないんだっけ？あ、効かない。あ、ウルトも効かない。オッケーオッケーオッケー。だよね。なんか、トゲの上をズケズケと入ってくるやつがいるなと思ったら、カタリストだったから、そういえば、効かないんだったなと思って昨日。ポイント？オプティックのポイント。これね、総合のポイントだね、総合の。おはよう、サクさん。あ、総合のポイントだよね、これ。
Lights everywhere. The Venn diagram is reading. The Optic has got the high ground. Here comes a Catalyst wall coming up. Dropped. Almost got called out. He manages to get away.
そう、多分総合のだと思う。
Pretty bad if Drop was 3-2-1 for the squad right below them. Noxious get eliminated. Impulse just went crazy.
総合のてか今日の総合ね。
Right there too. 6 squads left.
おはよう。前回から救急室素晴らしい。まあなんか、でもね、ガールのカーテンはちょっと味方を助けるときに使うカーテンだから難しいね、なんか使い道が。まあ助けられたらそれでいいと思うんだけど、全然。これアンチピックはどうキャラがどうキャラがそうなんよな。それ効かないのでかいよな。ガス掃除使ってる時もさ、敵のガス掃除突っ込んできたらマジ涙出るもんな。お前は効かないんかい。悲しいよな。
Oh, they zoomed right back down to that little crevice.
There's MLS.
They're gonna wrap around complexity, but depending on how Optic Gaming takes this actually may open the doors for the third party coming in from MLS.
全部さ、同じキャラのやつ聞かないにすらいのにね。シアのスキャン入らない、ブラハのスキャン入らない、ホライゾンのアビリティ座れない、自分の空爆当たらない、バンガルルトラ当たらない。でもなんか不公平だよな、そのカタリストとかガス落ちだけ同キャラのやつ聞かないの。でも不公平じゃない？ほら、すいませんね。俺さ、病院行った方がいい。病院行こう。
Why are you running? There is nowhere to go. Optic Gaming get taken out, but again they were
マッチョンがフェンスの網の中でダンスを出して。あ、そこワッチョン、でもワッチョンは聞くもんね。すぐ空爆食られればそう。でもずるくない？なんかカタリストとガス押しだけかわいそうじゃない？俺たちの研究したやつは同じやつに聞かないのかみたいな。不公平じゃない？すっごいとこにいる。
Ooh, Sentinels are in a rough spot right now, though, just down to Rambo. I mean, they got the placement points that they needed here. Oh, RKN also still alive. Trying to clutch this one. Oh my god, they're both so low, Vicky. One shot could just clean us up.
Oh.
No, the knockdown shields absolutely save that fight. Sentinels go down and somehow drug-free hold on to see another day.
MLS may be right in this because it was just AJC as a duo hiding in the crevice, and immediately MLS diverted their attention onto them. Before Drug Free can even restabilize, MLS says, let's take on these two individual fights between AJC and Drug Free, prevent them from being able to reset, and it's time for us to clear up and eat the rest of this lobby up with the buffet.
そこかゆいところに手が届いた。
our leaderboard when everything is said and done. MLS pushing in, knowing that they can clean that one up. And MLS is the match number 6.
ぶっちゃけた話だと同キャラのスキルが効かないとメタルために同キャラ作れる
They needed that. You talked about it perfectly right
おもろい
there,
な
Glitter. They absolutely needed that, but with such a massive last game, that was what? 15 KP, they cleaned up the last of the 3 squads. They probably skyrocketed
また自分えまた自分えまた自分ってこと
Yes. What if MLS just because what
え
would
また
happen with
自分なのっ
CLG
て
finals, etc. What if they just took second place? What if MLS
そう
did
そう
just
とお
enough
もろいけど
to
な
secure second place behind Optic Gaming?
難しい
They might have.
難しいじゃあ普通に画像じも
I
カタリストも聞くようになったらいい
Maybe. Maybe. And I'm not going to say that I was sitting back in my room just watching this all unfold. And every team that we were kind of talking about, we were just like, queuing up some things. And I was like, maybe them. And they'd kind of go out. And I'd be like, all right, well, maybe.
テンション高いね今日この左のお姉さん
I literally have never felt
男の人がいない
more
と
like Wig on a watch party where he's like, this team has
私が
got
頑張らなきゃ
and then they go out within like 2 seconds. It's really. It was disheartening.
おすばさんこんばんはおは
That
よ
cast, and I think back to one of my
うワ
favorite
ッツォン
moments
アン
of
チダメ使ってる
the
私なんで
things that I
私に
didn't
対
talk
するダメ
about
ゼ
was
ラ
the
します
Rambo
めっ
Ninja
ちゃいい
Kid
じゃん
mid-air with Valk. Slip of the year, please. Clip of the year.
お昼休み
That
か
was
お
actually
疲れ
crazy.
様
And
です
Keon also finishing up the rest for Sentinels. That was an insane last play. We didn't see it in our point of view too. All you saw was Optic flying and then they died. Then Sentinels won.
It do be like that. And honestly, looking back at match number 6 towards that end game, I really thought that Sentinels had the
東方の
ability
ポイ
to
ン
go
トだ
back.
け見て終わります
And
か
then I realized how unforgiving the Peacekeeper can be, and you witness everything
最後まで
about
見
that
てても
glitter,
何
and
言
you
って
were
る
just
か分か
like
んないから
waiting for it to connect, because after that seer provided all of the information on the health, of course that member of Sentinels is going forward and is like, hey, I just need to land one shot. And it do be like that.
Like one pellet could have killed one of the players on drug free. It was just
はん
could have gotten a reset for Sentinels, but either way,
もう押しちゃっ
even
た
if they don't get the dub and that a few extra KP, it was a performance that Sentinels needed to put themselves in a better spot on the leaderboard. They're another team that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on to see what that did overall for those points.
I mean, I
日
think
韓
that's
も盛
gonna
り
be
上がれ
really
たらいいです
valid,
ね
right?
ね
It's like, did they
でもやっぱ
get
チーム変わ
pushed
ったりしたから結
to
構
a far enough position? Like, how far did they
注
jump
目
up
す
the
るんじゃないですか
leaderboard?
ね
But NRG, like, look, they are just
盛り上がるんじゃない
absolutely
ですか
pushing
ね
through it. Native gaming, they had some standout moments. Unfortunately, there's like teams that
いや早起きしてこれ終わったらお昼って
better.
いう
And I mean, people
もう
ask me all the time, and I'm sure they do with you, Vicky and Glitter. They're like,
一
who
日
are
の
you
半
rooting
分
for?
を
Like,
使ってし
who
まっ
do
た
you want to see? And I'm just like, dude, honestly, I'm here for all the teams that maybe you're having a little less than stellar performance. I want to see teams that maybe you don't know about or aren't on your radar perform.
Yeah, I like how you talk about the teams that didn't perform very well in the last week, now really coming through this time around. I just want to highlight though, goodness, watching Optic Gaming clean up this entire lobby was insane. Green wall back, baby. It was crazy to see them pop off. And it's nice to see them come together. Not even winning a game, guys. They got second place, yeah, but they were flying out here. Also looking at Sentinels, like we highlighted, as one of the teams that needed to perform. They heard us, Sif, and they did it.
A lot of Prowler action here, MLS. I mean, this is kind of before they went on that absolute massive tear here. And look, Shubi, the first time I ever got to see him play, he was under Blackhand back in the day of Challenger Circuit, and he was pretty much one of the most phenomenal Bangalore players I have ever seen, and has thus far went on this like pro league journey. And seeing him evolve and adapt to whichever legend a team is putting on, whether that's a Valkyrie, and now seeing him on Catalyst and surviving as well, it's really glorious to see, Glitter.
I mean, this was one of the cleanest performances that we've gotten to see out of MLS. Not only for was right, 15 kills for MLS, giving them 27 points. There's no way that does it. Well, I guess it'll depend on what we have for CLG here on these match results, but that is a huge performance for MLS. Might be putting them into second place for the day.
Guys, MLS was in 9th place before this last game. They were in 9th place with 31 points. 27 on top of that. I do think they did it. That's actually crazy for a final game. That's what highlights to you the importance of making sure that you don't just get the positioning, you get the KP to profit altogether. Looking down though here, Tiff, Optic Gaming, they still got the KP out here. They were still secured in 1st place. They felt pretty comfy. Really coming up too.
Yeah, I mean, look, had Sentinels been able to pick up some eliminations towards that end game, of course they would have more points, but you're right. I mean, that 27 game from MLS is so substantial, and I'm really excited to see just how it pans out. I'm not going to do math, Vicky. It's just not in my favor, but 100 Thieves rounding out the top 10, Lanimals as well, finding some points. But when you have such a top-heavy leaderboard in terms of points, they sponge it up from every single other team in the lobby, and this other half of the leaderboard kind of shows that for map number 6. 2, 5, Dark Zero only getting 4 eliminations there and getting 5 points from it. So it's really tough to kind of make a trajectory up the leaderboard. But for Team MLS, having a big game with 27 points can do wonders for them. So let's go ahead and look at the series results and see what happened today for maps. 1 through 6.
ああ、今日4位とかにいたのに10位まで下がったのか。
First place, 85 points. We talk about a point sponge. There you go. MLS, but they did it, Vicky. They did it.
ダークゼロが12位だからね。
That is an insane final game, guys. They went from 9th place to 2nd because of what happened to NRG, because of what happened to Lanimals, FaZe, CLG, the teams that could have secured their top 3 spot. CLG did, of course, but FaZe was right there behind Optic Gaming. No one was gonna boot Optic Gaming off that 1st place spot. I mean, come on, guys. 85 points is crazy. But looking at the other half of things, Glitch Energy, a team that I was talking about a lot in a pre-show, unfortunately falling in 15th. TSM, at least in the top 10 portion right here, right behind Sentinels, but maybe not getting the day that they wanted to have after starting off really strong in game number 1.
そう、何位まで上がれるんだちょっとね。
Tough because you look at like TSM as well. You know, you're right. You got that game number 1, but man, maybe just carry forward. GG go next kind of vibe. Don't let the vibes get chalked. Keep pushing that effort forward. 100 Thieves, 11th place on the day with 29 points, but the point differential between the teams just to move up just 1 slot.
ダークゼロね、12位だけど、総合的には
game in map number 6 and kind of go up. So let's come on over. Let's see how it panned out for the season standings here. Split 2 Pro League.
ダークゼロ全然ね、総合では2位です。
Reigning supreme here at the top, but this is looking a lot more closely than maybe EMEA was. Just based off eliminations alone, FaZe 76 points with, or 76 elims with 55 points. Dark Zero, Optic Gaming 75, but that was a really good day for Optic, and I think it was well needed, Glitter.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure that heading into today, on the overall, Optic was somewhere around 12th or something like that, and they have now skyrocketed themselves into 3rd. FaZe taking over that 1st place position. I mean, this is a very, very stacked 1st page right now. And then I think MLS managing to get onto this page after that stellar performance, getting those points on the board. 2nd page is where I think we're going to start to see some surprises for people that maybe aren't supposed to be up here. Overall, those Sentinels did jump up, making it up to 15th. So it's still an improvement, at least for them, Becky.
聞いとくわ。
Yeah, I love to see that from teams like Sentinels out here still putting
TSM が
themselves
ね、
on
でも
board.
21位だったから、
Complexity
まあ
as well,
まあまあまあ
with
まあ。
the 41 kills, 26 points. Let's take a look at the other half though, because I know we see Furia there, we see TSM there. Furia played yesterday. Now looking at the last page out here,
でもやっぱ C が多分試合少ないんじゃないかなまだ。
more of them eventually in Group C. Tripods as well, they're going to be able to meet up with Luminosity eventually. Oxygen Esports,
TSM 以外大体強いとこ。そうそうそうそう。前回のクソ怖い VC でダークゼロをしてクソ怖い VC でお捨てになった。
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to talk about time because there were a lot of teams that really needed to start performing well or finish within the top 5 to kind of really make sure that they are kidding themselves out for success and making it to that split 2 playoffs because the number of match days are dwindling. But One of my favorite parts of the broadcast is we love to highlight
また今日 AB
specific
じゃない。
team members
足
in
少ないと
particular that had
強い。
standout performances through our map series of the day. So it is time for our MVP nominations presented by Monster Energy. All right, ladies,
はい、じゃあ
this is
一
the
旦終わり
time,
ましょう
this
か。
is the discussion, and I know that you have come locked and loaded, ready.
はい、ということで、一旦、ミラー配信はこちらで終了といたします。そうね、多分ね、20以内とかだと思うんだよな。20で、あ、いや、待って。こうやってさ、また勝ち上がりみたいなのあるんだっけ？どうなんだっけな。10以内じゃないかも。チャレンジャー、チャレンジャーサーキットのチームが入ってきたんだもんね、もう。日本は上位の10とかだったっけ？ごめん、調べてきます。憶測で物を言うのはよくない。よし。じゃあ、一旦お疲れで、多分すぐ始めると思います。ソロランク。もし来てくださる方は、よろしくお願いいたします。では、お疲れ様でした。お疲れでした。バイバーイ。